Greetings, greetings. Welcome to the live. Peace, peace. What up? Today we're talking about a topic that we've been talking about all week. Talking about the ethics, power dynamics in society. Power dynamics not controlled by the individual, but by systemic groups that hold power. Peace, Plant Dad. Brothers and sisters, tap like. This show ain't Black Mystique. Brothers and sisters, tap like. You know, we here to have a interview, not a debate. We want to know what you think. We want to know what you think. So we're not here to debate. We're here to learn, right, brothers and sisters? We're here to learn. Those that are conscious know that we're here to learn. So that being the case, once we get to 2K likes, if y'all want to send a request, y'all can come on up. We're not here to teach. We're here to learn. We ain't here to argue. We're talking about what's ethical, what's unethical, as it relates to something that avoids harming a person or environment. Are these marriages harmful to people groups? We're not talking about your interracial marriage. We're talking about the idea of interracial marriage. So before y'all come up here and tell us what color your husband or your children are, we're talking about the idea of interracial marriage as a whole. We're talking about people groups as a whole. We're not talking about individuals. I have a video out on the individualistic fallacy of racism. It's a logical fallacy that many racists love to use to defend racism. They try to say, if the individual has a good heart, then systemic oppression doesn't matter. Anyone that wants to come up can send a request. We are not going to ask you to tell us who you're married to, who your children are. Please don't freely offer that information. We're not asking. Because we're not talking about you. We're talking about institutions. We're talking about people groups, the institution of marriage, and the social construct of race. Please don't come up here and tell us you can't be racist. We're not asking you that. We're not asking that. When you come up, we're going to ask you 3 questions. Are you there? Hello? I don't think he meant to come up here. If that was a man, say king. Maybe it was a man. It's statistically proven that marriages between white men and black women are the most successful. Why do you think that is? We're not here to argue at all. We're sincere. But why do you think that the marriages between white men and black women are most successful? What defines success in a marriage? Because black men leave and white men stay. That's not why. That's not why. Some of us look at statistics. Some of us look at facts and don't have enough context to be able to understand the bigger issue at play. I do feel like it's a war in our community by reproduction. Jamie, that is not how they want to wage that war. That's not how they're waging the war. They're not trying to reproduce us out of the earth. When we black people use replacement theory in this conversation, it baffles me. Why are we talking about being replaced? Like, that is not something we have to worry about, y'all. We're the global majority. No one's replacing us. We were here first. We will be here forever. As long as there are people on earth, there will be black people. So we don't have to worry about being replaced. Some of us pick up the sentiments of our oppressor, and what they fear is being replaced. It is creeping in, Bubba. What's up, Sister Marlene? Creed, I'm not doing this with you. Don't start no stuff. Won't be no stuff. But
Yo, hello.
hi, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
19. I'm Irish. He, him.
Irish is not a race; it's a nationality.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody that doesn't know their race will not be on my panel today. Anybody that doesn't know what a race is not going to be on my panel today. I'm not playing with y'all today. I'm in a bad mood already. So I'm not playing with y'all today. I'm not. Race is, are you white? Are you black? Shout out to all the black Irish people. Shout out to all the black people in Ireland. I know some. I know quite a few, actually. And they're just as Irish as anyone can be Irish. So when I ask you your race and you give me a nation, or if you give me a description, like monoracial or biracial, you are getting dropped from my panel. Anybody want to come up, send the requests. Anybody want to come up, send the requests. Irish is also an ethnicity. Yes, a geographical ethnicity. An ethnicity that also includes black people. So again, it is not a race. I don't need to get into defining Irish because I didn't ask him what his ethnicity or nationality was. I asked him his race. Thank you for coming
Hello,
in. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
21. I'm like Afro Latino slash like Italian or something. And pronouns, I'm he, him.
Anyone that comes up and does not know their race will not stay up here and talk in a conversation about race. Anyone that doesn't know what their race is today, don't come up here. Afro Latino, he had me. He could have said that. That's kind of still an ethnicity, but We know who Afro Latinos are. You know, big up to the Afro Latin family. But when he says slash Italian or whatever, not doing it. We are talking about a topic that is centered on race. If you do not know what race you are, don't come on my panel today. You getting dropped. I'm gonna go to the next guest. Hey, please give us your age, race, and pronouns.
29, black, and I'm a man. I guess, he pronouns.
All right, talk to us.
Are interracial marriages between one ethical? I guess why wouldn't it be ethical?
If
I
don't come up here to ask questions, come up here to answer questions. Y'all see the question, right? Don't come up here to ask questions. Y'all getting a different side of legend today. I'm not playing. Anybody that's down below that wants to come up, you may come up. This is an interview. I ask questions, you answer questions. So if you want to come up, you want to answer a question, feel free. We're waiting for you. I'm going to ask you 3 questions to start you off. Age, race, and pronouns. And then you can answer the question and give us a brief reason why. I might ask you some more questions and we might get deep into it. But the first thing you're going to do is answer some questions. Don't come up here and ask questions. Thank you very much. We'll go to the next guest.
Hello.
Hi, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I am 19. I am Cajun, and I am not 19. I mean,
Come on, y'all. I know somebody down there know what a race is. Is Cajun a race, y'all? Is Cajun a race? Where is Cajun a race? Cajun is a rice, but Cajun is not a race. Cajun is a rice, not a race. So I don't really know what he's talking about. Let's go to the next guest.
Hello.
Hi, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm 35. The race that I think you're looking for is white, and pronoun is he, him.
All right. Talk to us.
You said you had questions, right? What are your questions?
Questions up here.
Are interracial marriages between black and white people ethical? Yes. Why wouldn't they be?
Why did you say yes?
What would make it unethical?
If you don't know that, then why were you so confident to say yes?
Because I don't. There are no reasons that would make it unethical.
Really?
Yeah, I also think you have race a little confused. I've just read the Cambridge Dictionary, and it says any form of grouping of that.
I ain't about to sit here and let a honky tell me what race is. He think I'm confused on race. Do I look confused, y'all? When I walk out the house, you think I get the privilege to be confused on what race I am? Do I look confused on what race mean? I'm not confused. Let's go to the next guest.
Oh shit.
All right, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
White, 25. He, him.
All right, talk to us.
Yuck is the answer. Does that answer your question? I'm sorry.
Y'all gonna play on somebody else's panel. What up, Kron? What's going on, brother Kron? Y'all want to troll me? I'm gonna troll right back. Go play on somebody else's phone, Bradley. Brad Abernathy. Go play on someone else's phone, Brad. I'm gonna go to the next guest. I don't know his name. Christy, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. Christy Layla. Hello? All right. Going to the next guest. If you already got dropped, there's really no point in requesting again. I'm not going to let you up if you came up here to play.
Hi. I
Could
think
my moderators not bring people up here? Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Who's doing that? Please don't do that. People are playing today.
Hey,
But
how's it going?
hi, Denzel. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
My age is 30, my race is black, and my pronouns are he, him.
All right. Talk to us.
And the answer to your question is interracial marriages ethical? The answer is yes, if there are two consenting parties.
What would make it unethical?
If it was between unconsenting, or if one of the parties was unconsenting, I don't think it's for anyone outside the individuals to determine whether it's ethical or not, as long as it's not harming anybody outside the individuals.
What makes you so confident it doesn't harm black individuals?
Black people aren't a monolith.
What does that have to do with anything?
It has a lot to do with anything. On an individual level, black people are different. We all live different lives and have different experiences. So to determine whether something's harmful to a race as a whole isn't how a person should live their lives. Unless, obviously within reason.
So, do you believe that driving cars is harmful?
It can be.
So, it can be for cars, but when it comes to race, you're sure that it's ethical and it's only up to the individual. Can cars be harmful?
It depends on how the individual is operating them. So, like, you can apply this to interracial dating as well. So, with vehicles, if a person is obeying the speed limit in the laws of the land, the probability that they would cause harm to others is substantially lower. Whereas if they're driving recklessly with no regard for pedestrians, other drivers, etc., yes, they obviously can cause harm. But cars are a tool employed by the individual.
According to, and I encourage anyone that comes up here with the individual mindset to take a look at the individualistic fallacy of racism. When we talk about racism, a lot of people like to zoom into just individuals, but racism exists as a system. But let's
But
go
who
let's go the
but
individual.
who are you to determine whether
Do not interrupt me on this live. I'll let you talk. I didn't say nothing. Don't interrupt me, please. All right. So the individualistic fallacy of racism is a thing. But anyway, let's go the individual route. Mr. Denzel, when someone drives a car, it is harmful to the environment. That makes it problematic. It makes it also technically unethical. If you look up Google, the definition of ethical, anything that is ethical is avoiding harm being done to a person or the environment. So, I ask you again, just because of driving a vehicle is not something that is harmful to an individual, is it still something that is harmful? I sent you an invite to unmute, Mr. Denzel. He's stuck on mute. Are you stuck on mute, Denzel?
Yeah, ethics are a bit more complicated than that because on organizations, for example, have different ethics. Different cultures have different ethics. Now, we as a society haven't. Well, we've agreed on the obvious ethics, like don't kill anybody, don't cause harm to people like that, and certain like that. But race is not an ethical framework that everyone agrees on. So, for example, as far as interracial dating goes, not everyone agrees on that. No, they don't. Not
No, no,
everyone
no.
agrees on
I'm
that.
interested in answering questions, but you keep monologuing. Like, you said race is something that not everyone agrees on. I just decided I disagreed on it. I'm Asian, y'all.
You're an
Um,
individual.
no, I know, right? So, like you said, all that matters is as long as I'm not harming anyone, I can just disagree on something. And now that I disagree, it no longer exists, right?
No, you can disagree on it, but to determine whether something's ethical or not is different.
But you just said that, like it's up to the individual. If I disagree on race, then does that mean it's no longer a part of a social construct that I don't have control over?
I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Can
But do
can
you?
my
But
moderators
like, I want to
please chill
see.
out? Because
I, I
hold
guess
on,
I
hold
guess
on,
for
hold on,
me,
Denzel. Hold on, Denzel, please. Can my moderators please stop bringing the whole world up here? Please. I don't know who's doing that. Please stop. All right, thank you. All right, Denzel. All right, so let's get to the meat of it. I trying to like kind of like not monologue myself, but I am here to teach. So if we're talking about ethical relationships, would you say a relationship between a professor and a student is unethical, as a teacher and a student? Would you say that's ethical or unethical?
in the framework of the institution, it would be unethical.
Okay, would you say a prison guard and a prisoner would be unethical?
In the framework of the institution, sure.
Why would you say it's unethical?
Well, in the framework of the institution, when you take the employment as a prison guard or a professor, you sign something that says that you're going to adhere to the ethics of that organization. As a black person, I did not sign anything that said that I would adhere to certain ethics, like for example, of interracial marriage. I can understand if
So why do you
at,
think organizations have those ethics in the first place?
because in
If
order to be a part of that organization, you have to adhere to the ethics. But here's the
right, but
thing:
why do organizations make those ethics?
to protect all parties involved in the
Why would why would
organizations.
why would they need
Are black
protected?
people an organization?
Why would they need just answer the question, please? Don't start asking questions. So
But like you're kind
why
of like lining. You're kind of lining.
I haven't had a chance to line anything because you don't give me a second to talk, Denzel. Like if I'm asking you a line of questioning, I'm the interviewer here. Like just answer the questions. Like, all right, so next. Why do institutions adopt these codes of ethics to, you said, to stop, to make sure that parties are protected, correct? So if we're making sure that parties are protected from what, Denzel? What are they being protected from?
if we're talking about people within the organization, they're number one, the organization is being protected from like an outside legal party, from somebody getting sued, and
Okay.
the individual, let's say, because like within like the two you described are like situations where one person would have an exorbitant amount of power over the other. So I don't think that's a fair assessment when we're talking about something as broad as race.
Can you please stop trying to make a point and instead go down my line of questioning instead
Stop
of
trying to make a point.
yeah, yeah. All right, it's cool, man. Have a nice day. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the next guest. The next guest, Madison, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hi, 22. She, her, white.
All right, talk to us.
Yeah, I think you should be able to love who you want to love. And it's okay if you don't want to be in an interracial like relationship or marriage, but like it doesn't really give you the right to like talk about people who are in interracial like marriages or relationships. And whatever happened, we're all allowed to love who we want to love.
Does anyone see where I'm talking about anyone's in particular's interracial like marriage? Like, am I talking about other people, or am I talking about interracial marriages as a whole?
I mean, technically, you are talking about all the people in interracial marriages because you have this topic up here. So you are talking about everybody who is in an interracial marriage.
Wow, that's a lot of people I don't even know.
I mean, it is your topic, and you're asking if it's ethical. Like, of
Yeah,
course
I am.
it's ethical. Like, why wouldn't it be?
Why would anything be unethical? Would you say that a relationship between a student and a teacher is ethical?
If the student is underage, that's unethical.
Even if
That's
they're even
grooming.
if they're over 18, it's still unethical.
Even if they're over, like if you're talking about a student in a college and a professor, yeah, that's unethical because likely the student's doing something. That's like a grooming kind of situation.
Grooming. Okay, so that means that one person is able to take advantage of another person.
Could over a slight power, like if the professor's like, I'm gonna only give you an A if you do this.
Interesting. So that means that the professor having power would make that relationship unethical.
Yeah, it's just inappropriate.
All right, so it's inappropriate when someone's in a relationship with someone that has a power over their life in a way that the person that is being taken advantage of doesn't have a power over the other person, correctly? Like it's not equal balance of power, right?
If it was a professor and a student,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just depends on every situation is different.
So it's different if it's a professor and a student?
I'm talking about every situation with a professor and a student. They're all different kinds of situations.
But you just said it was unethical because of the power. So does it like what would make it
Yes,
ethical?
because it's unprofessional.
What makes it unprofessional?
A professor and a student, that's
Hmm.
unprofessional.
What makes it unprofessional?
Everything. And it's not the same as and
Everything
why are you
is
trying to
everything.
but why are you trying to compare an interracial relationship with a teacher and a student dating? Why is that your comparison? Those are
Don't
two
ask.
different things.
I don't ask questions. I mean, I'm sorry. I ask questions. You don't ask questions. You can answer questions. We're here to learn from you. So when we're talking about a professor and a student, what makes the relationship unethical? You
A
already said it. I
professor
don't
and a
know.
student.
Yeah, you went to unprofessional, but you already touched on the power dynamic. I'm just not understanding why we're deviating from that. I don't know what made you deviate from that. You already figured it out. Like what makes it unprofessional, what makes it everything else, is the fact that the professor has power over the student in a way that the student doesn't have power over the professor. Do you understand?
I understand that in that situation.
What about a prison guard and a prisoner? Do you think that that's an ethical relationship?
It's ethical.
It's ethical?
No, unethical. A prisoner and a prison guard.
What would make the same thing unethical with a professor and a student, unethical with a prison guard and a prisoner? What would that be?
Bro, why are you using these
And please
as
don't answer me.
like you
Please
tell
don't
me
answer questions. That's the like. Please don't not answer questions. Like, don't ask me questions. I am up here to ask you questions.
because I've told you that has nothing to do with race. Bro, you're reaching right now. Let people love who they want to love. I'm leaving. This is ridiculous.
All right. So she had a fit. We're gonna go to the next guest. When they can't answer a question, when frosted females can't answer a question, that's their way of saying, because I said so and it is what I want. You know what I'm saying? They think that we're supposed to all obey and listen to them. So I just think it's interesting. Any white tea people that want to come up here, just understand that as soon as you come up here and try to tell a black person what is ethical and not ethical, you can't be the judge of that. Your people should not be the judge of what's ethical for black people. Y'all are not the ones we look to for ethics. So as soon as you come up here, just understand we are looking at you sideways when you try to tell us what is ethical for us. First of all, I will let you up here and I will ask you questions. But when y'all try to talk about ethics and just say, because I said so, it is what it is, y'all sound crazy. But I'm going to just keep asking questions. That's all I'm here to do. What's up, Strawberry Cake? Give us your age, race, and pronoun, sister.
Hello, hey everybody. I am 41 and I am black. I am playing spades, pity pack kind of black. I am a I'm a she her and I hit the request because I was tired of like the last five people. They just up here playing games.
Yeah.
Um I think it's unethical. These people, they go out of their way to keep us unemployed. They go out of their way to make us homeless. The woman, all they want to do is cosplay us. Now everybody got the lashes, the fluffy lips, the suntans, the BBLs. Now they want hips. It's really really annoying. It's annoying because we naturally look like this. We are naturally built this way, and they try to make us feel bad because we are generally like size maybe 10, 12, 14s, and they all size 3, 4s because they don't have any vitamins in their bodies. So they try to tell us that we too big and they all want to be our size. So that's why it's unethical because all they do is steal, literally stealing everything, stealing from the store, just whatever they can get their hands on. We create it and they go, oh my God, I just discovered this. They stole it. And on a more serious note, it's unethical because nobody should feel comfortable laying up with their oppressor, right? When their oppressor is still holding their grandparents' money in their wallet. Like people make it seem like, oh, it's just dating, it's just interracially dating. But if you coming from a group and your group is a POW and you're still poor, you're still living in redlining, you're still in Section 8, you're still in government housing, you're still in an entry level job. The system is still working for them. It's not working for us. So what are you doing over there with this lady or man who's trying to use who's not even trying, who's using your great grandmother's money because they never paid her for the job she worked. So when everybody else got their direct deposit, your grandma never got paid. They're literally spending your family's money on you. And here you go with your head held high, feeling like you did your big one when they're spending money that they already stole on you. So my thing is, people need to really pay attention that if you went and worked the job and you worked this job for 3 months and you never got paid from this job, how would you feel, right? So now you're going to go over there and lay up with the oppressor. They've been holding your money for 400, 500 years. We don't even know, because honestly, this thing is probably going on longer than what we are even actually really counting. And they're holding your money in their pocket and they're feeding you crumbs, feeding you like a dog, and you just happy with the scraps when your last 6 grandmothers never got paid from their job. So for me, I find it idiotic that you would even see women jumping the fence, men jumping the fence when you're going to live in that house because that's your grandmother's house. Your grandmother worked for that money, but your grandmother probably worked 40, 50 years and never got paid. And this person and their family is living on your land, spending your money, and you just happy to be over there like a fool. It ain't right. And it'll never be right because they don't want to lose power. They love it. Like I always tell people on the other panels, right? I work in a company where the black people is like 3% of us. And what these white tea girls go and do, first of all, they go on a dating app to meet the guys, right? Then they pick the brokest one that they could find, and then they try to build them up because they got a savior complex. So oh no, you don't have to work. Oh no, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do that, because she wants to take care of everything and she wants to control him all without freeing him. So again, why would you be marrying into somebody and these people got all of this money, but nobody, and I'm 41, right? I've never seen anybody try to fix the Constitution, but you laying up with these people. Where's the lobbying bills? They want to lobby about TikTok and everything else, but nobody is lobbying for your freedom. Just to find out that when people go to jail, I could be wrong on my state, but it's between Texas and Arizona, that when the guys are in prison, they put them back on the fields as slaves. So we have no business even talking to these people ever. And that's how I feel. I needed to break that up. I'm here with the lemonade, the crab cakes, the deck of cards, because some people was getting on my nerves, and I could talk now. So I needed to come and talk a little bit because it makes no sense. Why are you allowing someone to keep your grandmother's Social Security paycheck in their pocket, and then they're going to feed you a little crumbs, and you think you're doing something big by going over there? And I'm not even going to touch on mental health with these people. I'm going to save that for the next topic because those people are insane. But again, I'm going to be quiet. I just wanted to change this up a little bit and show up with the yams.
I heard that. All right. And the yams have spoken. All right, y'all. Keep tapping like, keep tapping like. We're trying to get to 50K likes. Send gifts. Let the algorithm know that you're getting something from the live. Help us reach the live goal. Send gifts to the panel. But we're trying to get to 50K. 50K likes if you look up in the top left corner up there. We're trying to get to 50K likes. We're at 26.6. 20. Oh, we're going up. All right. Thank y'all. All right. So everything Sister Strawberry said was on point. We're going to go to the next guest.
Can I just say something real quick?
Go ahead, Sister.
Chicken God 21, he's harassing me about this guy Dijon. He's in your live right now. They follow me everywhere I go, so if you would block them, yeah.
Y'all heard
Because they're
that.
gonna bring more nasty people up in here. Just to let you know.
Yeah, they got him. So I'm going to go to the new guest, Miss Hudat. Give us your age, your race, your pronouns, please.
I am 50. I am, what was the question? My age.
Race
I'm African
and your
American.
pronouns.
And what else?
Your pronouns. She, he, they.
She, her.
All right, talk
She,
to us.
her. No, I said she, her. She, her.
Yes, we heard you. the first time. You could go ahead and talk to us.
Okay, Miss Strawberry, her conversation was all over the place. I have no clue what she was talking about. I mean,
What?
they holding us down, they feeding us crumbs. Her conversation was ridiculous. It
Ma'am,
was
because
so
you're
ridiculous. It was
compromised. You're
beyond
compromised. That's
ridiculous.
why you don't
Hey,
make sense.
I'm
black is
speaking.
beautiful. Please,
I'm
yeah.
speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Show respect. I'm speaking. And it was totally ridiculous. The redlining and they, I don't even know what she think redlining is, because it has been outlawed for decades. So that's not even an excuse anymore. So she can just stop using that one.
Red line has been
And they
outlawed.
feeding us crumbs. I can't. Yes, redlining is outlawed.
Vicky,
It's been
you're sending
outlawed
them
for
to the guest.
decades. It's illegal.
Did that stop it from happening?
Redlining is yes,
It's
yes,
illegal to unalive people, but yet the United States goes through thousands.
emphatically yes.
Emphatically, yes.
Do you even know what redlining is? Emphatically yes. I don't think y'all know what redlining is. Do
I
y'all
don't
know
think
what
you know what
redlining is?
redlining is. I don't think you know what redlining is. It
I
happens to
know
this
what redlining
day.
is. I
It
know
happens
as
today.
a realtor, as a realtor, as a realtor and an accountant.
She having I don't know. She got the devil in her. I don't know what's wrong with her. We're gonna move on to the next guest, man. Cause I don't know
That's why I
what
tried to stop her. That's exactly
like
why I tried to stop her.
I know black is beautiful, but please don't cut people off. Let them finish their mess. But yeah, it just don't make no sense. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Get to the bag. Give us your age, your race, and your pronouns, please.
I'm 36. I am black, and I definitely think dating white people is detrimental to our race, to our culture, to our entire existence. To be honest with you, I mean, if you look at the history, you see everywhere that they have been, what they have done to the people that has already been there. So, what makes you think that because generations has passed, that mind state has failed or hasn't went away?
Mm.
White people, they get around us still to this day, and they still try to colonize us with our movements. They try to infiltrate our movements and just take away what we are trying to build up for ourselves. They take it away from us any way that they can. I definitely don't think that black people should be dealing with that kind of people, white people.
Hmm.
It's not coming from a race. It's not coming from a racist standpoint. It's coming from a factual standpoint of what I've seen. Not only what I've seen, but like I said, the history of their people and their culture. They don't even have a culture. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even have culture. They steal from everyone else, just like Miss Strawberry said. They steal from every other being that's been on this planet. You know what I'm saying? They've stolen from the Latins. They've stolen from the black people. I mean, they don't even have a culture. So how can you sit there and actually entertain their foolery? I really don't understand it.
All right. So back to the topic, though. What do you think makes interracial marriage between black and white people unethical?
I mean, we just what makes it unethical? First of all, our cultures are totally different. We really don't have anything in common with them folks. Secondly, with all the interracial babies, what are they doing there? They're essentially just trying to whitewash, white us out. That's what they're trying to do. I mean, if you
Man,
look,
nah, that ain't it.
you don't
That
think
ain't it.
so?
Nah, absolutely not, man. We don't got nothing to worry about with that. We got the youngest population on earth and we're the global majority. They can't white us out if they wanted to. Ain't enough of them.
But if you see, I mean, if you seeing it from a standpoint, you seeing what's going on.
The great replacement theory is something the Europeans believe in. And I think it's weird whenever black people try to believe in it too. Because it means that we looking at counter racism or anti-racism the same way they look at racism. It means like we looking at our liberation through their lens. So if they wanted to whiten us out so bad, then you would see more white people moving in next door to black people. With for some reason they putting us in small corners in these cities. They got we got our own neighborhoods where you ain't gonna see a white face. Uh, like it don't make sense. They're afraid of the browning of America for a reason. If they was trying to brown people, then they would love the browning of America. Like that's not what they about. They're afraid of that actually, because they know that that would mean that one day the world wouldn't look like them. There are so many reasons interracial marriage is something that's counterproductive to the liberation of black people. But genetics and being washed out. That's like the very last thing on my mind. When it just don't make any sense.
How how can you say interracial marriage with white people is good for us?
I didn't say it was good for us. I would never say that. I said it. I said there's many ways it was harmful. I just wanted to know what ways you understood it to be harmful. I was just saying that one day the entire black race will be replaced by people that look like Brad Pitt is just not it. Like that's not going to happen. If you ever understand how phenotype and genetics works, like we have dominant traits, so it takes us one generation to do it. It takes them 3 generations to do. So even if they wanted to do that, they would have a really hard time doing that. I understand that they did that in South America in certain parts, but they did that with people with also another recessive phenotype, Native Americans, and they also did it with black people too. But again, they were a majority at that point. So it's like again, it's just there's other ways it's problematic, and I understand if everybody doesn't know that, but this one is an argument I don't like.
Well, it's not really an argument. I'm not going to argue with you, brother. But from a standpoint of what I've been seeing, it's a lot of interracial, white interracial with black people having kids. Their kids coming out light skinned. Their kids is growing up with white people, is dating other white people and having kids with white people, essentially trying to white us out.
Yeah, but they're also a lot less likely to marry outside their community than even we are. So again, I know what you see on TV and what you see happening with basketball players is disheartening. But the reason they're doing that is not because, again, they're trying to white us out. It's because they're trying to make sure that these basketball players have assimilated into whiteness, so that they're spending their money on black people that will spend their money back into the white community. That's not them trying to replace our race of people. That's more about power than genetics.
Correct. I can agree with you on that.
Yeah, all right. Well, I got more guests up here that want to get a chance to talk. Thanks for talking with us. Smart sister, what's going on?
Hey, I just
Uh,
wanted to comment
just
on.
wait, just a moment. I wouldn't. Hold on. We're gonna get to you. Smart sister, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can. You can come back to me later. I'm just sitting in,
Okay.
get in where I fit in.
All right. All right. Thank
Great.
you, Auntie. Black Swan. What's going on, sister?
Peace, brother legend. I came up here early today and I see it's snowing in here. I think that there's a lot of people that are confused by the topic, and I'm going to say what I know about this topic straightforward. Interracial marriages between Black people and white people are unethical. They are problematic. We have not had any changes in this country or any changes globally that, to where we have seen some sort of and I'm not gonna put the problem on us, because life would be different for Black people if we did not have to deal with colonization, imperialism, racism, and capitalism, and all of those things that are constantly harming us, right? White people, y'all have never done anything to help yourselves. Y'all lack the ability to see the humanity in other people. You have no regard for other people's humanity, other people's lands, other people's bodies, other people's resources. Why in the world would we want to get into a marriage with you? Things have not changed. Things have, in my personal opinion, I would say things have gotten worse in some places, right? We could talk about the fact that in America, there are more Black people in chains today than there was during chattel slavery. We could talk about the fact that a Black woman can't go into a hospital and give birth to her baby and know that she's going to make it out of that process alive, right? Because of the maternal mortality rate and medical racism. But a YT woman could go into a hospital, give birth to her Black biracial child, right? And then cause a lifetime of neglect to that child. So much so, right, that they would get to the point of feeling as if they want to unalive themselves, because a white woman cannot do anything outside of prioritizing her own emotional comfort, just like the white women are doing in these comments right now. Y'all are proving my point. Marriages between Black people and white people are unethical, period. And y'all comments are proving my point. I land.
Absolutely. Thank you, Black Swan. White people in the comments, if you want to come up, you can. We're here to learn from you. We want to know your stance. I want to just remind the brothers and sisters in the audience that a lot of them are used to having access to our bodies, and they will feel like they have to come up here and defend their right to have access to Black people. If we even ask the question why it's ethical after 400 years of oppression for us to marry the same group that continues to oppress us to this day, a lot of them will come up here and tell you why you're not allowed to even ask a question. Because that, for some reason, is unethical. Whenever you might even consider, because we didn't have this question with Black people before they made interracial marriage legal. Black people didn't make interracial marriage legal. Black people didn't even march to make interracial marriage legal. They didn't sick dogs on us to make interracial marriage legal. We didn't get spit on at countertops to make interracial marriage legal. We didn't do anything to have to get this. They decided themselves, after so many years of oppression, to make interracial marriage legal. And they didn't sit down with Black people and ask us if we thought it was ethical first. So now that we're having the conversation, y'all will see how many of them decide that they are the dictator on what's ethical and what's not, even though they have been the most unethical people on earth. They will decide to come up here and tell you what they want and what is ethical, what is right and wrong. But let's go to the next guest. Nene, give us your age, your race, and your pronouns.
I'm 20. I'm Black, and it's she, her.
All right, talk to us.
So after listening to some things, I've kind of started to agree with the point. However, the argument that I don't even know how I can argue this anymore, because Black Swan just explained that as well. I was going to say that, we can't really sit up here and say that, well, they have killed us and all this whatnot, when we sit back and we kill each other. However, after Black Swan, I forgot what she said. She was like, she just not going to blame Black people because of the certain things that has went on. And if the things in this world and the history of Black people, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have had this mindset. But so my argument is definitely is nothing that I can argue, because I agree now. But I also just want to say, I feel as though people should just do what they want. And if they feel as though they want to go down that route, with the ignorance of going down that route, then they'll just find out on their own.
I think that's a fair assessment, Nina.
But that's
Absolutely.
all.
All right. And we're not here to tell anyone what to do. I say this every time I start the live because that's an easy way to kind of straw man the argument is to say, you can't tell people what to do. Love is love and they can do whatever they want. You know, they get all into that. Please mute up when you come on here. So that's an easy way to straw man is to say people can do whatever they want. We have freedom and like we're just talking about whether or not something is ethical. If you're that easily triggered and you think that as black people, have control over whether or not someone wants to marry a frosted female or a marshmallow man, then you must not have been paying attention because we don't have that power. We're just up here to talk. Last time I checked, y'all are the ones that said we have freedom of speech. So why we can't just talk about whether or not something is ethical? Why we can't just think about it? Why didn't we get a chance to have this conversation before it was made legal by the same people that used to grape our ancestors? Why didn't we get a chance to say whether or not it was ethical before it was passed and made legal by the same people who are the number one Johns of young black women's bodies to this day? The average SW, young SW is 12 years old and black. And their number one consumer of that type of work and that type of lifestyle, cruising around the streets real slow, is married white men, age, I think it's like 35 to 40, middle-aged white tea men looking for young black girls to this day. Something that started during slavery, when they said you weren't a man until you raped a black woman. And then a white man wanted to marry a black woman in 1967, and white men passed Loving versus Virginia and said that they could legally do whatever they want to us anyhow. So why didn't we have this conversation then? Us having this conversation now shouldn't trigger you. We can't do nothing about it now. So we're going to go to the next guest. Scrappy, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Yeah, greetings, King. Greetings to everybody tuning in.
Greetings. Talk to us, brother. What's going on?
Yeah. So, me, the way I'll address this, first of all, I don't think it's ethical. I don't think it's ethical at all. I think it's hypocritic on a certain level to uh, this whole situation, right? Both our black people and white people need to study history, study science, and connect it with the actuality of what's going on right now. You feel me? People could come up and talk about their individual experiences. Oh yeah, I could individually choose to be with a white person and it's all cool. But your individualistic choice, right, will not solve nor eradicate the problem that the same whitey people created in the first place. You feel me? Scientifically checking it right now, right? Even their own scientists have came up with so many studies fact check that epigenetics, right, is something, right, that going back generations, many generations down the line, we hold these generational memories of what happened in the past, and it only takes certain triggers to have someone spiral in that same past historic emotions, right? And on a subconscious level, they might not even be consciously aware that the pain and the hurt they're feeling at this present moment is connected to things that happened in the past. Because if you, right, whoever is in that relationship had family in their genetic history, right, or family tree, his lineage or her lineage, right? That was great, and more. I would say like 10 out of 10, you would have like eight to even 8.5 on 10 chance that was possible, because when you face reality of history again, that like they had breeding centers and breeding houses, and they would just force themselves on our people. So you as a black person, right, whether man or woman in that room, every time you have an intercourse with a white tea snow bunny, like Uma Johnson say, like on a subconscious level, memories will be resurfacing, and you won't even know why you feel in certain ways. But these people won't come up here and tell you the truth about what they're really going through. You feel me? But yeah, I'm gonna mute up for now. But just to land my plane, right? If you all remember what Muhammad Ali said, right? It's not we loving ourselves first. Don't mean that we hate anybody else, right? And even when you check nature, a bird of a feather flocks together, right? But in the animal kingdom, you have birds, you have fowls, you have eagles, right? These are all different types of birds, but you don't see a chicken trying to mate with a falcon. You feel me? But that's just that. I should give thanks, King. I won't be
All
too
right.
long. Shout out to everybody. Please tap up the screen. We almost at 50K. I'm gonna drop down and let somebody get a chance to come up.
All right. Thank you, Brother Scrappy. We're going to go to the next guest. Diva, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hello, I'm Diva. I'm 19. I am black. I go by she, her. Hello, everybody in chat. Interracial marriages are not ethical at all. I am a product of an interracial marriage, and the way that we've got way too many confused kids, we've got way too many YT people thinking their proximity to blackness makes them black. We've got fetishizers in our camp. We've got these people who have fetishized us since the beginning. We got here them we laying up with them? That don't make much sense at all. They are the reason why we are even over here. They are the reason why we had to create so much for ourselves, had to protect ourselves from them. Why would you sit down and lay with them? Why would you ever think about it? When
We
you
know
know
why.
when you know your history and your culture, it wouldn't even cross your mind, because you would understand that it it is affecting us so bad to the point where we're infighting, talking about this skin, this hair texture, all this other stuff. Talk about brothers, if it ain't snowing, it ain't going. That ain't right. That's not how we as a people survived. We stayed together against the oppressor. Why aren't we doing that anymore? We got to keep doing that, because at the end of the day, that's all we have is each other. Because they will show you who they are, whether it's them, they family, they friends, it doesn't matter. They will show you who they are, period, point blank. And it's just not good for us. It's not good for our mental. It's not good for us as a collective to try to beat racism. It's not good for us as a collective to be a better people. We need to stop. We need to stop playing with them. We need to stop, because it's not conducive for our community. It is not. We need to stop welcoming them into our house and start kicking them out one by one, because it's not working.
I heard that. I definitely heard that. Y'all, if I brought a mask, an African art, a mask, if I brought a mask into your house, a lot of y'all would make sure to put it in the garbage can outside, because you don't want to bring evil spirits in your house. But then you'll turn it, and that's from your own culture, your own African culture that they taught you was evil. But then a lot of y'all would turn around and put the devil right on your television and bring the devil right up in your house. But anyway, Let me go to the next guest. Coco Beans. Give us your age, race, and
Hey, I'm 38. I'm white. Female, she, her.
all right.
I think ethics plays a role in the relationship and the marriage when it comes to. It was kind of what Diva was just when it comes to bearing children. I think it's really unfair to bring a child into the world that was brought into the world by a black parent and a white parent because of the confusion that they're going to have. You want to teach your children about their history and about their heritage, and you have a white T parent who is historically known as the oppressor, and then you have a black parent who is known as the oppressed. Now a child's going to grow up confused and favoring one history over the other, or feel more drawn to one history than another, and the other parent is kind of pushed to the side. You know what I mean? They're gonna it's just confusion for a child, and I think that's the unethical part, in my opinion.
Why can't the white parent child history?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
You have a lot of that. Could you turn your Bluetooth on?
No, my Bluetooth's not on.
Okay, say something. No, you got an echo.
I'm here. Yeah, if it's an echo, I'll mute out. That's all I wanted to say. I'll mute out.
Yeah. All right. So my question was, why can't white parents teach the black child their history? Why do you say that, the history wouldn't be passed down?
No, what I meant was you're going to want to find out history from both parents. Both parents are going to be teaching their heritage and their conflicting histories. And I think that's confusing for a child dad, oppressed mom and mom's people in history. That's confusing for a child.
What about today?
What do you mean today?
Does mom oppress?
Yeah, there's still oppression. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just referring to when a child wants to know about their history. But yeah, it's absolutely still happening today. And that's hard. That's so confusing for a child. I mean, as an adult, try to put yourself in that situation. It's just, it's too much, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know how y'all can tell someone's recording. I know the echo, but to be honest, with 237, at one point we had 350 people in here. I know they recording. Let's go to the next guest. Beauty in Aquarius. Go ahead and give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hello, everyone. I am 34. I am a black female, a black woman. I go by she, her. I'm also Haitian. Thank you. And in my culture, people who continuously do things that hurt them and bring shame to them, that phrase we use is called sans honte. Sans honte means without shame. And for a person who continuously be in relationships with white people, it's to me, you have no shame. You have no memory. And one thing I notice about the black community, we have like short memory. Like we have issues with our memory. We forget, we forgive, and we are too open to people who have continuously, and it's not even about what happened in the past anymore, because it's still happening. Because it's almost like you want to do this forgive and forget thing, but you can't forgive something that's continuously happening. It doesn't make any sense. I feel like, okay, here's an example. The other day I was in another live, and there was a black man who was in a relationship with a white woman, and he's only been in relationships with white women. And I had a question. I was like, what is it about your white queen that you feel like she was the pick? She is the one. She is like, you wouldn't pick any other body any other person because of her. And he could not tell me what it is about her specifically that he loved. I'm like, okay, if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I love my partner, if somebody asks me, why do I love my partner? I have a song I can sing about my love for this person, but he could not tell me anything. He was just like, oh, she understands me. We hang out, we go out and drink and stuff like that. And I was just like, that's a homie. That's a homegirl. That's not a partner. And he's like telling me that, oh, she understands me. I'm like, what is a black woman cannot understand about a black man? You cannot tell me that a white woman can understand the reality of a black man. It doesn't make any sense. As a black woman, we walk the same path as black men. White people have no idea who we are. They know nothing about us. They spend decades oppressing us, centuries oppressing us, and they know nothing about us. We know more about them than they even know about themselves. So how can you tell me that a white woman would understand you? And then when something happens, because it happens time and time again, this white woman shows who she really is, and then you're going to turn around and look to the black community for support? That is not happening anymore. We're no longer going to be open, understanding, caring. If you're going to go over there, because I truly believe in leave people behind, because if I give you the information and you don't take the information and practice the information that's going to protect you, and you want to stay over there with those people, stay over there. We're not going to go back for people. We're not going to fight for people no more, because at this point we know we know too much to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, we gonna let whatever happened to you over there happen to you. We're not gonna run after you and try to get justice. We understand that you put yourself in a predicament where you ain't want to listen. But absolutely, sister.
Somebody said somebody needs to mind their I believe that people should mind their own business. The thing about it is, you can't mind your own business when you're continuously seeing people that look like us being dropped, are like bodies on the ground all the time. And then when you find out it's a partner that they were with who dropped them and is a white person, like you can't just mind your business, because they're coming to us for help. They're asking us for help. After you betrayed us, we don't want to look for help. Just like OJ. Just like the moment you in trouble, you want to look to the black community. That's crazy.
Hey, anything to do with an African right now on the earth, anyone African that is breathing is part of my business. Whether you an African in America, an African in Haiti, an African anywhere, that is my business. However, once you reject our cry for help, once you've turned your back on your community, what you get, you deserve. Well, we just gonna keep it pushing, because we're not gonna put ourselves in harm's way for people that put themselves in harm's way. So we're gonna go to the next guest. Lyrical, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
26, black, and he, him.
All right, talk to us.
What's going on, family? I just came up just to say, it is extremely unethical. I hate that this is even a debate between people. I don't even understand why it's a question. Like like she just said, like with everything that's going on now, everything that's happened in the past, it's mind blowing for me to see people legit like take their time and put their time and effort into these colonizers. Like it's insane to me. What I wanted to say was that, like, and I feel like I've said this before on your live. I just feel like this needs to be repeated. I don't understand how people don't take into consideration what their ancestors could be thinking. Like, I don't, in me, in my eyes, from how I view this thing is like, you can't tell me that your ancestors went through what they went through. Not to mention the regular stuff that we learn in school, especially once you actually research the stuff they was doing back then. And when you actually get into the facts of the systems in place to this day, it's like, how can you really think your ancestors ain't turning in their graves, ain't like looking at you like like you're a disgrace? Like this is, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it'll ever make sense to me. I don't want it to ever make sense to me, because it just, it's insane. I honestly just wanted to come up just to be another brother that's really talking against this, because like I know like um a lot of our voices get drowned out by like opposition sometimes.
Mm. You muted yourself, brother. Oh,
Y'all
there
can
you
still
go.
hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. My fault, I had got a call. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. Basically, I just wanted to be another brother actually speaking about these things, because yeah, like I was saying, like I feel like our voices get drowned out by the coons, by
Be
these
careful.
people who
Yeah.
women and mayonnaise, swimming that
Mm-hmm.
milk of magnesia, and it's insane to me. But
All
yeah,
right.
that's all I wanted to say. I'm a head on out.
All right. Well, thank you, brother, for coming up, helping me do some of this white work. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
All right, brother. Going on to the next guest, Raina. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hi, yes. I'm 23. I'm black and she, her.
All right, talk to us.
So basically, I just want to touch on a few things that were said throughout this conversation, even in the chat. But first, the first reason why I believe that interracial marriage is unethical, because I believe that it is a form of control that the white person has over the person of color in the relationship. But I am a product of interracial relationship and I still don't agree with it, because even though I have a white dad and a black mom, my white dad still showed that he had that white privilege control over me, and he tried to pull me over into the white side. So I cut off all contact with him because my mom raised me full time. Didn't know my dad until I was like 19, and then he tried to come in and unteach me everything that my mom had taught me my entire life.
Mm.
So I'm not confused about my identity or anything. Like Coco said, that interracial children will be confused about their heritage. I'm not confused about anything, because whenever I asked him about anything, he would just say, "Oh, all lives matter. Black lives matter is just a cult. It's of the devil," and that's not what I believed. And I'm not confused at all. So that's all I really
Wow.
had to say. I just want to clear that up.
Well, shout out to you for doing that hard, grueling work to love yourself, sister. This is why we say it's important for everyone, whether you're biracial, monoracial, whatever it is. If you have black consciousness, it is a retention of your black or African identity and a rejection of white supremacy. And Sister Raina has shown us you could actually, honestly, you could close your eyes and listen to her talk, and you can hear that she identifies full time with part of her people. You know what I'm saying? You can hear it on her voice, and that's what we talk about when we talk about the three questions of whether or not you are an African or black. The first one is, do you have African ancestry? A lot of them can say that, but you have to answer yes to one of the first two questions in order to go to the third one. So you have to say yes to one of these in order to go to the third question. Do you have African ancestry? Some people say yes. Do you have an African phenotype? Some people say no. It's okay. You know what? Some of us, we come in all shades from chalk to charcoal. But the third question is the most important. The third question is, do you identify full time as Black or African? And when we get to that question, you can lie to us. Well, you can try to lie to us, but a lot of times we can tell. But when you lie to yourself, that's when it's so obvious. And I could tell that Sister Raina here, you could tell she when she by herself, she knows she Black. So big up to you, sis. And sorry to hear that about how you had to do that work. We all have to do work
Sorry.
in our own way. But appreciate you for coming up. Let's go to the next guest. Blue Love, give us your age, your race, and your pronouns, please.
I'm Black. I'm 30, and I'm a she/her.
All right, talk to us.
So I wanted to comment on you guys not accepting Black men or women back into our community when they are being, attacked or hunted down by white tea people because they were with a white tea person or partner. And I feel that we should accept them back. Because when white tea people, when they leave the Black partner, white tea people accept them back into the community. That's adding to their community. So I feel like we should do the same for our people.
The term is, once you go Black, you don't go back. I mean that's what they say. There's been plenty instances where once a white woman gets with a Black man, them white tea men don't want to follow that.
Well,
But
where I live at, I see it all the time, and I see white tea women with either older Black kids or they'll have younger Black kids, and they get accepted back and forth. I don't know. Out here where
That's anecdotal. We're not talking about your individual experiences. We're talking about
yeah.
as a whole. That woman is vilified and called an N-word lover. These terms exist for a reason. But I'm not even going to make an argument to say that we shouldn't accept them back once the relationship is over. We're talking about once they are in that relationship, and get into some sort of bind, some sort of messed up situation. It's not our job to go fix that. For Jonathan Majors, for example, you don't see us marching up and down the street saying, free Jonathan Majors. We're not going to do that because there's,
I'm
there's
sorry, you're
people.
cutting out. I'm trying to catch it, what you're saying.
That's because you got low bars. You have to be in a space where you have better connection.
Yeah. So your connection's not the best, but either way, everybody else can hear me. So let me just talk to the people then. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to Jonathan Majors, when it comes to certain people that put themselves in a situation where they should have known better, it is not our job to try to fix that situation. Now, as far as accepting them as Black, we can do that. Accepting them as pro-Black depends on how compromised they are, because they ended up in that situation for a reason. If you have children by this white tea woman, are you going to stand 10 toes with us, or are you going to have to at some point compromise yourself in terms of our liberation because you feel like that would have a negative impact on your children's mother? So, that being the case, some people are compromised. It's okay. We ain't saying you're not Black. We just saying we don't need you at the front of our liberation movement. We need y'all somewhere far in the back after you already been compromised. All right. So everybody up here kind of went except for Timothy. What's going on, brother Timothy?
Hey, what's going on, family? Just living lavish. How about yourself?
I'm well, brother. How are you? I mean, you said that. Go ahead, talk to us.
Yeah. All good. Yeah, no, I mean 100%. And nobody's ever saying that, we are rejecting our African family that unfortunately made the wrong decision the first time around. What is happening is that essentially we do not have the luxury, or not the luxury, but we don't have the time to be, nor the disregard for the safety of what's within the best interest of the black community to accept people back into the black community that are still actively compromised or still actively doing what's not within the best interest of the black community. As black people, they're prioritizing other people outside of that community space. And I always find it so strange when I see our African family talking about how, well, we need to include our African family that have dabbled outside. We need to include them. And I'm like, all right. I mean, we can include the ones that, didn't know at the time, but have done the work to unpack how damaging it has been and are trying to actively go back into doing what is within the best interest of the black community. Like, we have time for that. But we very much so have seen over thousands of years the damage that accepting everybody who does not operate within the best interest of the black community back into the black community. Like, that's not something that is going to help us in the long run, because at the end of the day, they're always going to try to include their non-black spouse into the conversation as to, hey, how can we prioritize them? And it's like, well, we're doing what's within the best interest of the black community. What does them have to do with anything? They're like, well, you have to be inclusive. You have to include us. Like, no, we're okay with including what's within the best interest of the black community. And what's within the best interest of the black community is not prioritizing how your spouse feels. We need to do what's best for us, not them. And so people always get tripped up by that. And they're like, well, I just don't understand why we can't. And it's like, all right, well, then that's the reason why we can't include you, because you are literally acting towards what's not within the best interest of the black community. And that's to try to prioritize somebody else that has nothing to do with us. And it's just, people don't understand that can be very dangerous, especially when we're having conversations about liberation, especially when we're having conversations about progressing towards something that's going to benefit black people exclusively. Because everybody always gets messed up when, like, every other demographic on the planet has no problem with prioritizing themselves. But then the second black people start saying, yeah, we got to prioritize each other as black people and what's within the best interest of the black community, everybody, it's just like you spoke, gibberish to them all of a sudden for some weird reason. But, our interracial marriages between white people and black people, ethical? No, they're not. They are not. The power structure of white supremacy, racism, anti-blackness, that ensures that they are not. There's never going to be a time where you can actively engage in an actual relationship with this person without there always being that level of power that person has over you. And there's no such thing as it being ethical when somebody has a level of power and privilege over you, to the point where anytime that any grievance is had, all they have to do is call the cops and boom, you locked up. Just off of their word. That's not equal. That's not.
My thing is, let's have inclusion. Let's have the inclusion discussion. Yeah, let's include. Come on, come on, white tea folks. Come on, snow people. Let's include. We can include y'all into interracial marriage, but why we don't get inclusion when it comes to economics? Why we don't get inclusion when it comes to education? And why we don't get inclusion when it comes to the 10 areas of people activity? Y'all you want to talk about inclusion? Yeah. Let's inclusion people. Why we can't talk about inclusion when it comes to forms of power, but for some reason, when we talk about our bodies, you need to feel that inclusion, you feel like inclusion is the discussion we need to have.
They don't see us as human beings. Like, they would literally have their boys grape
young black girls or black girls in general in order for them to learn how to be sexually active. They used our body for that. So when they get their little snow bunny, when they finally get to marry her, he knows how to satisfy her. They use our bodies to practice. So they don't see you as people, because they do it to horses, they do it to dogs, they do it to animals. Like, they continuously do these things to things that they don't see as human beings. So there's never going to be any inclusion if they can't even see our humanity. And I'm sick and tired of us constantly fighting for us to be seen as humans by these people. You can't force nobody to see you any kind of way. Just like you can't make no man love you. You can't do anything to there's nothing in the world that a woman can do to make a man love her. So there's nothing in the world we can do as black people to make white people see us as human beings. So we need to stop this conversation. It will never happen. They never include us in anything. You notice anytime there's any sort of conversation about diversity, they're like, oh my God, here we go. They're always talking about being divisive, but they never talked about their actions from the very beginning has divided us from the beginning. You divided us from our country. You divided us from our family. You divided us from our culture. So suddenly when we're talking about the division that you have caused in our lives for literally centuries, suddenly we're dividing. We're all human. No, you don't see me as human. You just don't want me to talk about it. You just want me to just let shit go and be cool with it. That's the problem. And it's just like being in an abusive relationship. Anytime you bring up the abuse in the conversation, all of a sudden, oh, you always starting shit. No, you did this in the first place. And as a human being, I have the right to address this shit. You don't want shit to change. You want it to be exactly the same way. You just wanted to shut up about it.
I heard that right. I know Beauty and Aquarius be reading. I could hear it. I know you got some knowledge. That's facts. Let me go to this next guest, Django. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Yo, peace. My age is 36. I'm black or biracial, black and white, and he, him.
All right, talk to us.
All right, so I definitely think that it is interracial marriages is unethical. I was raised by a black dad and a white mom, and it's funny. Growing up, I was always taught that I was biracial, not mixed either, not black but biracial, and this was mostly done by my mom. So I grew up kind of feeling like I just told somebody about this recently. I grew up with this kind of sense of a superiority complex, like I had the best of both worlds kind of thing. And growing up, I had this kind of complex, and a few years ago, I started researching things. Like I read the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's Message to a Black Man in America, and after reading this and starting to study more about like the Nation of Islam, the 5%ers, and things like that, I started to more so identify with black. I mean, I've always lived this culture my whole life, but it was always from a biracial lens. But now I consider myself black. But it's funny in coming into this sense of self here in the past few years, and in talking to certain white family members about it, it's like it ruffles their feathers. Like the fact that not considering myself biracial but black, it's like denying the white part to me. And it's like, no, but we were, Irish and Scottish, and we had, royalty in their lineage and everything. I was like, but that was stolen lineage or legacy. All of these things that so-called were, things to be proud of or whatnot. It was all from the lens of white supremacy. So I still can't identify with that part of me. But yeah, it's funny because just identifying as black, it's like it really bothers them, especially my mom. I've had a strained relationship for the past couple of years since I started coming into this kind of knowledge. And I've since decided, just from talking to my pops and, going through my own journey or whatnot, I think it was more so rooted in like a fetish kind of thing more so than anything. Not to give up too much information about my parents' marriage or everything, but it's not the best these days. You know, my pops, he's always encouraged me with the, pro-blackness and whatnot. But it's funny seeing it these days. It looks like it was fetishization. And myself, I have a daughter also. She's gonna be 12 soon. And she was her mom is white. So I came into this realization not only with what I believe is the case with my parents, but also myself. So the unethical part, I tell people when two people from different races get together, one is going to assimilate into the other. There's no in between. Somebody's going to be taking on more features than the other. And if you're not rooted in in your blackness, then chances are you're going to start to identify more with them. But you know the the bad part about that is, as much as you want to identify with them, they're never going to identify with you. But yeah, I ain't gonna talk your ears off. I just had to say that.
Well, yeah, man. Shout out to you for doing that work, brother. We all got to
How
do
does your
that.
daughter identify then?
She identifies as mixed. She's I say she's white passing. She's a lot lighter than
You had
me.
a daughter with a white woman?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. I missed that part. All right, so how you know all
Okay,
this?
so her mom and I aren't together anymore. We haven't been together for almost half a decade. So I realized this about myself years later. So
After
like
you had the
maybe
child,
4 or 5 years ago, I started to think differently about myself and my actions. I actually my last girlfriend a couple of years ago, she was white, and I broke up with her just because of that. It was
Well,
right
brother,
after
you
I
still
read
got
this
some
book.
more unpacking to
yeah,
do
you got
because
something
you
like you got
shouldn't
more work.
even entertain that, and don't do it like get her and then let her go. You know, that's just like Dave Chappelle when he was that KKK member in that sitcom that he did. You know what? You married a who? You got a little more unpacking to do because if you woken up to your black consciousness, then you shouldn't still be swirling either.
What I'm saying though is
Say something.
I woke up to this about, I would say, 4 or 5 years ago. And I had a relationship with a white woman at the time, but
Uh
after I
huh.
read that book, I actually broke up with this white girlfriend right after I
Okay.
read it.
Have you
And
done any more scholarly work? Have you read some other black scholars?
honestly, I don't consider myself pro-black or anti-white. I actually have joined the 5% Nation. I'm a 5%.
Inside white.
You can't do both, boo. You can't serve two masters.
No, I said I'm not pro-black or anti-white, meaning I don't.
First of all, anti-white ain't a thing, brother. So that's the first thing you
Right.
losing us on. But it's anti-racist, I guess, but anti-white, like where is there an anti-white movement? But anyway, what do you mean by pro-black?
What I mean is, I fully embrace my blackness, 100%.
As your
Okay.
identity, but your values and your actions don't align with the black community.
No, they absolutely do.
So then, why do you say you're not pro-black? Like, I'm confused.
Well, under the teachings of the 5%, we're taught to be uh, neither pro-black nor anti-white, but to be pro-righteousness and anti-devilishment.
Okay, so even in that context, um, understanding that that racism and white folks and black folks exist, which side do you think is righteous?
Uh,
The
Somebody
what?
says Django rechained. I can't. Yo, y'all are funny. All right. It's cool. Django, man, best of luck with you on your journey. We got some more people we want to bring up here. Hold on just a moment. Y'all keep tapping like, tapping
Oh
like.
my, I got a headache.
That's why today, after the meeting we just had, like, I don't even feel like it. I'm just going through people. Let's
Right.
just keep tapping like, yo. We trying to get to 100K. The next guest is Denisha. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hi, I'm Denisha. I'm 30, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm
Yeah.
black.
All right, talk to us.
So are interracial marriages between black and Caucasian people ethical? I don't think so. Only because, like, just recently I read a book called Black, White, and Jewish by Alice Walker's daughter, Rebecca Walker. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with her, but she
Yep.
basically,
Mixed, right?
huh?
You mixed?
Yeah, her
Yeah.
book was,
Alice
Yeah.
Walker's daughter. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so her daughter wrote a book about like all of the internal and external conflicts that she faced as a mixed person, also being a person who was a minority within a minority. And so it's like, to me it just serves no purpose. Because it's like you have this kid who is too black to be with the white kids, she's too white to be with the black kids, and she's too black to be with the white Jewish people because her dad was a white Jew. And so it how do you raise a person that has that many conflicts with them? Like, how do you teach them to love themselves when they have that much like conflict with them? And that guy, the Django that just got off, that's what he reminds me of. It's like, okay, you want to be in it and then you don't want to be in it. Like you fiddle the fence. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who you are. So I don't think it's ethical. I don't think it's sustainable for interracial marriages. Um, I think black people need to do more to try to preserve the race and continue to reproduce black babies. And it's not to be racist or anything. It's just when we look at the numbers and we look at the statistics, is that we can't really afford to just be stepping outside of our races and marrying everybody else and having their babies and neglecting ours, because our numbers are becoming stagnant, not nobody else's. You know what I mean? So it
What do
just
you mean
doesn't,
by stagnant?
meaning in America, the black race is at a stagnant level of rising. The reproduction rate is at a stagnant level. So
That's cap.
it's not lowering and it's
That's
not
not true.
increasing.
That's
Yeah,
not true.
it is.
No, it's not.
Um, and
That's
another
a,
thing, the other statistic is that black men are marrying outside of their race at a higher rate as well. So we need to bring that back into the black community, because when if everyone's stepping outside of our community, how do we get a hold of our community? Like, how do we navigate that issue?
So we'll just hold up, just real quickly in terms of yeah, okay. First and foremost, black reproduction rates, they are not remaining stagnant. Technically speaking, there was actually a Statista report, and I'm talking about more in terms of like kind of global what's going on with the with our African family. Europe is expected to decrease in population by over 100 million, while Africa by the year 2100 is expected to increase in population by an additional 2 billion. Black people in the United States have very much so been steadily increasing, even though the disparities that specifically target black people for unalivement still are very much so a thing. Even though
Well,
all that is
I'm
still
speaking
happening,
of
racial
America right
exclusive.
now.
No, I
yeah,
I'm
understand.
speaking.
I
you're
I'm
not
understand.
speaking.
listening.
I
You're not
understand.
listening. You're trying to respond. Let the brother talk. He is talking about America. Go ahead, brother.
At the end of the day, still the rates that we're talking about, like the reason why I mention that is because generally speaking, like not even generally speaking, African genetics have the greatest genetic variation as well as the highest amount of fertility on the planet. So black people, even though those disparities take place, even though they systemically attempt to prevent us from having those numbers increase, those numbers are still increasing anyway. Now, imagine if those disparities and those racist practices of them mass unaliving us just weren't in place, then black people would literally be the largest demographic on the planet. But like that's that's the reality of it. And although you are correct about the brothers having a higher rate of likelihood of dating outside of the community, dating and marrying outside of the community, at the end of the day, of the brothers that do get married, 85% of them get married to black women. And of the black women that get married, 93% of them get married to black men. So in the vast majority of instances, we are still choosing each other. So I don't want us to think that it's like, oh yeah, 70% of all black men are divesting. That's not true.
Mm-mm.
That is not true. Majority of the brothers are choosing sisters. Majority of the sisters are choosing brothers. We do
Mm-hmm.
very much so need to pay attention to those rates increasing, because we're actually seeing partially that the rates of divesting are increasing for both black men and black women, although it's highest with black men. It's important to pay attention to that and acknowledge that and call it out, and to get our divesting, and to get people more aware of this, so that way we can stop that nonsense. But let's be a little bit more clear about what's going on
Right,
with the
and then
death.
white tea people are the ones dying out, not us.
Yep.
Their birth rates are so low, it's a crying shame. So, sis, we need to work more on bringing together our brothers and sisters that love each other and are willing to be pro-black. I don't give a damn. If you want that, go over there, clean the gene pool. We don't need them. We don't need them. If that's your dance, great, do it. But we don't need you over here, because then you're not gonna be the type leader and black man that we need in the community anyway. If you know swirling in the milk, then that's fine. Do that, but we don't need you. We don't need you. Keep it moving. Work on what we see. We got to really stop thinking in our head, worrying about what white people think, what they're doing, I mean, don't get me wrong, you got to know what your enemy is doing. But we keep too much. A lot of the people I've heard this morning, they're still worried about what white people think. If we don't want them to keep it being in our business, we need to stay out of theirs. Who cares what they think? Who cares how they rolling? I don't. I'm going to devote 100% of my time to my folks and to building stuff, thinking of ideas of how we can fix stuff, going here, going there. That's what we need to be doing. Just quit sitting here worrying about, oh, well, the white man, who gives a damn? The white tea man ain't changed in 500 years. So what are we worried about? They ain't doing nothing new. They're living their purpose. So we need to live ours. That's what we need to be doing. I don't care what they do, because they on their way out anyway. And like I keep saying to y'all, imagine a world without them. Where would the planet be if they had never existed? Think like that. What would we be doing? What would we be building? Where would we be going? Think like that. Quit predicating everything you do upon what is the white man gonna say, think, do, whatever. No, you don't need them.
Okay, so can I respond now?
Go ahead. I didn't say
So
you could.
one, I didn't say anything about caring what a white man thinks. I didn't say anything in reference to that. What I said is that when you look at the statistics, when you look at the studies, it shows that actually in America, the Latino race is actually going to supersede the African American race in America. When Timothy brought up Europe and Africa, I honestly was not including those places in my statement that I was making. So I'm talking about specifically here in America. If black people in America are already considered a minority, and our black men are leaving our communities to marry outside of our races at a higher rate, and then they're saying that the Latinas that's coming in or Hispanics that's coming in is really going to surpass whites and blacks by
They should.
2050.
They should let them have it. This they part of the world.
Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is that That's what I meant when I said stagnant. I'm not saying that black men are not having children with black women or anything like that. I meant that there are studies that's showing that our men are leaving our communities to marry outside of our race,
But
and
we're
there
not
are
in a competition to try to keep our numbers up above a different ethnic group. Like why are we trying to have a bigger population in America? Like
well
I
because
understand.
I'm sorry, go
Right.
ahead.
And he said
That's why.
86% of black men marry black women. So that's what, leaving 15% of the brothers that's stepping out. Let them have them. Like I said, if a majority of the
Yeah,
brothers
maybe in
still,
the 50s, but
what?
in 2020 and up, only 30% of black women have been married. So,
That's been a problem for us for a while.
and all of those women were not married to black men, is what I'm saying. So, at the end of the day, when we talk about interracial marriages that end up with children being unethical, that is the part of the conversation that we have to discuss. Because if we don't discuss that part, then how do we fix that
Well,
problem?
then Denisha, let me tell you how we fix that problem. Okay, brothers need to stop being unalived by by the system of YT supremacy.
I
Like
agree.
that is how you fix that problem. Brothers need to stop being unalived by the systems of YT supremacy. However, the systems of YT supremacy do not operate to the benefit of black people. They operate to the detriment. So at no point in time will you ever see that the numbers or rates at which black men are unalived by the system will dwindle down because the system was designed to unalive black people.
Right.
So like that's just not like you're asking to solve a problem within a system that was designed to keep the problem going. That's never going to happen. America is never going to get to that position where all of a sudden, oh, you know what? We can.
My bad, Timothy. I muted you. I'm trying to mute myself. I'm about to call.
Oh, okay, I got you, brother. What part did y'all last hear me at?
It's just not something we're gonna have to worry about, I think is what you were saying.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, like
Latino and Hispanic is not a race, Denisha. I don't know why you said that. That's not a race. That needed to be clear. I'm a black Hispanic woman, Latino woman. That is not a race. You can be any race and be Latino or Hispanic. But go ahead, Timothy.
Yep.
And I
That's
wasn't
another thing. We can't
Okay, but
even
pointing anything at you.
Hispanic
when we're
people do not put on their box that they are African American. So
Okay,
it is a
but
difference.
Denisha, stop, because what you're doing is harmful. It's very
No, it's a
frustrating when people.
difference.
Hold
And
on,
you
Denisha.
all had a
Denisha,
conversation about
Denisha, stop for
interracial
a second.
relationships
Okay, but
between black.
Denisha, stop for a second. What I'm saying is when you say things like that, y'all erase black, Hispanic, and black Latino people, and we exist. And our numbers run deep. You gotta stop. Latino and Hispanic are not a race. That's what we're telling you. That's it.
Because on that same box it says, "Are you black?" You can put yes. Says non-Hispanic, Hispanic. So but you can check all that. You still can be black.
Yeah, you still.
I'm
That's
not saying
not
that
how they
there
measure.
aren't black Hispanics. I
Nah,
didn't.
Denisha, I'm just gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you this. Do you think that there's a future for? Okay, let me ask you this real quick. The United States of America. Do you think that the United States of America would you say it would be fair that it's a YT supremacist, anti-black, racist society? Would you say that'd be fair to say? Yes or no?
Can you repeat that really quick?
Sure. Would you say that it would be fair to say that the United States is essentially like a racist, YT supremacist, anti-black society? Would you say that's fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if we know that it is a racist, YT supremacist, anti-black society, can you tell me at what point do you think, okay, do you think that there's a future for black people here in the Americas? Yes or no?
I I can see a future for black people in America if black people get on the same page. And we
Okay, and
need to
if we are living inside of these systems and constructs of white supremacy, anti-blackness, and racism in America specifically, and let's just say the United States, right? So then, and how is it that you would think that we will be able to liberate ourselves within the confines of a system that was designed to ensure that we never gain liberation?
So my response to that, and after this, I'm going to have to get back to work. But my response to your question is, When we look at history, we have seen black people on numerous occasions liberate themselves. Now, whether that was a short-lived liberation or a long-lived liberation, we have seen it happen. So it is
So
possible. I
the
don't want to
problem is, the
go.
problem is,
What?
the
Let
problem
me
is
finish.
that
Let me
that's
finish.
not.
Let me finish. Let me
No,
finish.
no, no,
Let
no,
me
no, no.
finish.
You've
But
never
I
seen
allow.
black people
No, no,
liberate
okay, we're not
themselves.
about to. There is
You've
no such
never
thing.
seen black people liberate themselves.
Exactly. There's never been a situation at all in all of American history where black people have been able to fully liberate themselves. Even in our rebellions, the rebellions at some point or another were not fully
There's
successful.
no such. You saying fully is a way to underline it, but there's no such thing as even fully liberated or fully oppressed. You're either oppressed or you were liberated. We've never been liberated, so that's never even happened.
Exactly. There's no way, shape, or form in which you as a black person are able to come to the conclusion or come to the ultimate goal of existing inside of white supremacist, anti-black, racist societies and actually fully be embraced as a equal person. That's not a
Okay,
thing in these
Timothy,
types of
but you
societies.
you you
So
asked me.
what
You
that means is that
asked.
as black people, hold on, what that means is that as black people, the only way in which that liberation will ever come will be if we remove ourselves from the systems and constructs of white supremacy to the best of our capabilities. And the only way we can do that to the most, or at least to a degree where we can further ourselves from it to the absolute degree, like you're still going to see it everywhere because it's global. However, the best way in order to gain further towards that goal is to set up an economic power base in the continent of Africa. It's to set up an economic power base with our own people in our own land. You can't liberate yourself fully inside of you. You cannot liberate yourself using the systems that were designed to keep you not liberated. Like
Okay,
that's
so
not fair.
Timothy, when you asked me the question, you asked me to give my opinion and what I thought. So that's what I was doing. What I'm
Okay,
saying
but your
is
opinion
that
has to be based off of facts and
let me
truth.
but you haven't let me finish. You all cut me off in the middle of what I was saying.
That's
What I'm
because you've
saying
been
is that
misquoting history and
every
misquoting
kingdom,
facts,
every
Alicia.
kingdom, every kingdom in the world has an opportunity to be overthrown. It don't matter how you want to word it. You could be in Africa and be overthrown. You could be in America and be overthrown. At the end of the day, it has to be organized, planned out, and strategic. Wherever black people end up, whatever country black people end up wanting to lead, do whatever they want to do. The goal is to get on one accord, because when we are all over the place and we have no understanding of what this is or what that is, it is a lot of our people that do not know. They are not aware. So how do we get our people in so that they can get on the same page as us, so that we can do some of those things, Timothy, that you said that we need to do in Africa and all these other places? We
Thinking
have
that
to.
you can get to that point inside of a YT supremacist society is not one of the ways you can do that at all.
So what's
You
the
can't
goal?
exist.
What's the after this I have to get off because I got to go back to work. But what is
Understood.
the
You said that.
goal? What is the goal to get out of a society that is dominated by white supremacy or white supremacy? I'm sorry. That's dominated by white supremacy. How do we get out of that? Because white supremacy is even in Africa. So how do we get out of that?
So again, the best way in order for us to be able to start towards that goal is to set up that economic power base, like I stated about before, in the continent of Africa, on our own land, with our own people. We need to establish those connections, but you're not going to be able to have people that are even ready to have that conversation of liberation and separation from the oppressor unless you first start to educate our people out of the miseducation. And educating our people out of the miseducation means to have means to basically prioritize African history, prioritize our African roots, and to unapologetically get the majority of our people more on code with having a positive cultural identity with their Africanity. And I mentioned this book several other times on other lives before, on this space before as well. There's a book called The Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health by Dr. Rita Walker. And she's a psychologist, and she very specifically, based off of her work and her dealing with her patients and so on and so forth, she has stated that people of African ancestry that do not have a positive cultural identity are more likely to self-unalive. So based off of her experience with her patients, she deliberately made a conscious choice to take herself, as well as her black husband and black children, to predominantly black spaces, specifically for the purpose of keeping them around black community, because she found out that not being around black community, that in and of itself could absolutely contribute in a large way to us not having a positive association with our Africanity. So that means that by us detaching ourselves from our African rootedness, the continent of Africa, our African family, that as of literally automatically instills a level of anti-blackness in us that is very hard to overcome. And if we are not prioritizing that education, prioritizing the education out of the misinformation, then we very much so are going to be lost in the sauce, very confused, thinking that, oh yeah, we can liberate ourselves within the confines of YT supremacy, rather than trying to actually liberate ourselves based off of our African origins, our African roots, African cultural concepts.
Hey Timothy, I don't mean to cut you off. Can you tag
But
that
that is
book
what it
in
is.
the? Can you tag that book in the comments? Because I have to get back to work. Thank you all for letting me come in and join.
All right, peace.
I got you.
All right, we got another guest up here. D, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hello, my age is 20, my race is black, and I use he, they pronouns.
All right, talk to us, family.
All right, so looking at your question, and also from similar questions that I've asked basically to other people, I think I've come to the conclusion personally that interracial marriages, dating, whatever you want to call it, it seems unethical, but I feel like in certain circumstances or situations for different people, it may be ethical. And here's why I say that. A lot of the times when people talk about interracial marriages and interracial dating, they usually talk about heterosexual couples, but there's always seemed to be a divide within heterosexual and queer people. From my experience and from what, because this is the work
Could you
that I go
qualify
through.
that? In what ways?
You said what?
Qualify that statement. What do you mean?
By the divide, that statement?
No, what would be the nuance in difference with heterosexual and homosexual black and white relationships?
The difference is that the LGBTQ community is very small. Within that same facet, the black queer community is very small. And if you put in situations...
What do you think makes interracial marriages between heterosexual people unethical? Like what is the thing that makes it unethical for...
Oh, I didn't say that was just for heterosexual people. I said it's unethical overall. But for some situations, I feel like there should be some understanding as to why someone would have done that.
So first, qualify what makes the interracial relationship unethical. What is it that makes it unethical?
Well, I mean, it's been said on this panel, hundreds of years of oppression from YT people, hundreds of years of backbreaking labor to actually excel as a people on, this earth.
So what are the instances when it would be ethical? This is what we're trying to get to.
That's the question.
Oh, okay. Should I finish what I was saying before, or would you want me to pivot to the next question?
So yeah, you're saying that our history in America, the power dynamic.
Yeah,
right?
Basically.
Okay, so then where does that power dynamic cease to be relevant?
I feel like it ceases to be relevant when there's so much discrimination and hate within your own community, which is something that I've talked to a lot of Black LGBTQ people about.
That's nonsense. That's nonsense, because how are you going to say your own community is such a problem that you run to the community that caused the problem in your own community in the first place? That's like saying, like, I'm so tired of drinking milk, I'm gonna go drink a cup of razor blades. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that don't make no sense.
So the reason why I had said that was because, like I was saying before, A lot of Black LGBTQ people feel ostracized and they do not feel accepted by their own community. Here's why I say that. Because of religion, because of others, like sociodynamic things that are within the United States as a system, a lot of the internalized and externalized homophobia or transphobia kind of exudes itself.
Who taught black people that transphobia and homophobia? Who taught that to them? When did
Oh
they
no,
start doing that?
wait a second, sir. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and like Black Swan had just said, it is something that needs to be unpacked and it needs to be talked about
Well,
more.
no. Just answer the question though. Who and when was homophobia? Like, who introduced it, and when did it start in the black community?
Oh, okay. I just let me clarify one more time. I'm not disagreeing with you. We know that it was white tea people. We
Okay,
understand that.
right. So
And
now
so
that we understand that, it's not something that comes from us. So that means that it comes from outside of our community. So then, that being the understanding, why would it be ethical for us to run to those that had all that homophobia and transphobia in their own community, so much so that it has penetrated and, for lack of a better word, influenced our community to join them in that type of bigotry? Why would we go to the source of bigotry?
I think for some Black, and I'm not speaking for me personally, if you want my personal opinion on it, it's something that I probably wouldn't dabble with. And I can get my reasons as to why later. But the reason why a lot, again, this is the work that I do, and these are the conversations that I have. A lot of what I hear and a lot of what I've even researched, it always stems from has the Black community tried to have these conversations and unpack it. And that's where I feel like that's where the disconnect happens, because like me and like those who have come to me or the things that I have read, the only people having these conversations are Black LGBTQ people. And we're talking about interracial relationships and marriages, and we're talking about homophobia and transphobia. It's unfortunate because I think that conversation should be had about this.
I
So that's
understand. I understand, and you're pivoting back um, to accountability on the black community, and I understand that. Again, I do agree that we should be able to speak more to toxicity in our community, but we got to understand the reason for that toxicity in the first place, and then second of all, when we're talking about interracial marriage, to say that your community is so toxic that you're going to go drink from the toxic people themselves is wild to me. Like, could you please stay on topic and qualify how that's the answer for anyone?
well, like I said, it's not something I would do personally, but like I said, I'll qualify it by saying this. The experiences of like LGBTQ plus people within the Black
He's doing it again.
community
He's going back to the
has
black
not been
community.
positive.
I'm not talking. It
No,
hasn't
wait.
been positive in
Well,
the white
that's
community either. So
It
when
sure
is it
isn't.
ethical? Like, he's going in a circle. Like, stop doing that. I understand the black community, bro. We understand that. But I'm saying in this conversation, we're talking about interracial marriages. We're not talking about black on black couples. If we was talking about that, then you could say what you want to say. But we're talking about interracial. You said it was ethical because the black community's so bad. But I'm trying to tell you, the black community learned that badness from the bad man himself. So how are you going to say it's so bad in your community, you're going to go to the bad man himself? Could you please qualify how that is ethical?
like I said, it's not my
He gonna repeat
experience.
himself again. All right, yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. And the reason we don't have that conversation, brothers and sisters, is because the only people that have a hard time being around their own people is people that have taken on an identity outside of their people to
Thank
begin
you.
with.
Thank you. Like, how many times have I gotten up here and said, what black church don't have a gay choir director? I get a little tired of the black church taking all the heat for being, homophobic or whatever. Well, have you seen some of these white tea mega churches? You know what I'm saying? Like, really? You want to talk about my denomination, United Church of Christ, that I used to be a part of, accepts it. You can become clergy. You can be a part of it. You can. So everybody's church is not.
The
That's the
talk,
one
but
thing
then
that's on my nerves.
they don't talk about black people as if they're a monolith and we're just innately homophobic.
Thank you.
First, like next of all, and then
Thank you.
on top of that, it's just like even if we talking about this, I care more about black LGBT people in this conversation than you do because
Right.
I want them to stay out of danger. I don't
Right.
want them going to the oppressor that taught us that homophobia in the first place.
Thank you. Because
So
they hate you too. It ain't like their community is
I've
immune
been to I've
from it.
been to Pride. I've been to Pride in Hollywood when they had their Pride, and every time I went there, I experienced at least a little racism with the black folks I was with. With the
I
black folks
believe
I
it.
was with, I seen it right in front of my face. Y'all don't all get along because you all have rainbow flags in your hand.
Sure
So,
don't.
so I don't know. I want y'all to
Yeah,
stay
that's a
out of
fact.
danger and stay away from them too. It don't matter if you gay or straight.
Right.
Them white T folks is the problem. Let's go to the next guest. I think it was Miss Cologne. Oh no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Camille, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Uh, 24, female, straight, all that good stuff.
All right. Your race.
Oh, black.
All right, talk to me.
Ambiguous, black woman, black mom, black dad, So, yeah, I think 100% interracial marriages between blacks and whites are completely unethical. I think we should have stayed with our own races. A lot of people may disagree and say segregation was horrible, but I think it was like probably one of our like best times. Like we were a community, and I don't know like how to explain it, but like black people and white people definitely should not be getting married, in my opinion.
Okay. What do you believe makes a relationship unethical?
I think the history of it, like with the buck breaking and the Jezebel and all that, you know what I mean? It's just, I wouldn't do it.
I hear you. And a few people came up here and said that. And I feel like that makes it problematic. I wouldn't say that's enough to just make it unethical. The history of how black people have been treated in this country by white people alone is not enough. I would say the current treatment is what makes it unethical because
Yeah, date out. Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's a comment. Yeah, date outside our race, but not date white men. I never said in my comment that we should be cucking for white men. But continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Dating outside the community, period. Like I don't like it. That's another misconception. That dabbles a little bit too closely to the concept that was invented by white people. The whole BIPOC, like people of color collectively. They use terms like that to effectively prevent black people from gaining access to the economic opportunities that they are supposed to be receiving. Black people have had a very specific injustices done to specifically black people, and it's still happening right now as we're talking. So
Sure.
that's the reason why we have to focus on just black as black people, because if we try to dabble in the BIPOC, no other racial group or no other demographic of people is our friend, y'all. They're not helping us. They're not setting aside giant panels where, like, I'm not seeing our indigenous brothers sitting down, or not brothers, or I'm not seeing the indigenous community sitting down having full-blown conversations about how they can fight to protect black people. I'm not seeing that happen. I am not seeing any of even our Aboriginal brothers and sisters. I'm not seeing them having full-blown sit-down conversations about how they can help black people. I mean, obviously they're facing their own things, and I'm not saying that they should be out here just doing all that stuff. But at the same time, black people, we all we got. All we got is each other. The only people that I see actually sitting down having conversations about what's within the best interests of the black community or black African family globally is black people. That's it.
Yeah, I can agree.
I want to get back to what I was saying before
Sure.
that. So the current circumstances of black people in America uh, include a power dynamic when we're around our white tea counterparts that make it unethical today, currently. So the history in itself and how it came about makes it problematic because it's contradictory. But ethical is something that avoids doing harm to a people. So if harm is currently being done to our people, and interracial marriages also has a way to further that harm that we've spoken about already, I would say what happens to us now is what makes something unethical between us. So.
Okay, well, that was just my definition on what your title said.
All right. Let me go to the next guest. Miss Cologne, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. Oh, David got skipped. David, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. David Red 05.
Hey.
Nope. Miss Cologne made it first.
Yeah,
Mrs.
good afternoon.
Hi, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm old, I'm 50, and I'm YT, and I am a she, her.
All right, talk to us.
I have a legit question. So I don't want my 14-year-old daughter dating a black guy. Does that make me racist?
No, that's not something that makes you racist. You're racist because you're white too.
I just automatically am.
Yep.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Well, no, how do I change that, though? How do I change your perception of it?
Well, yeah, I would say that
I can't become black.
Well, that's something you need to figure out for yourself. Best of luck with that.
I'd recommend bathing regularly.
Well, I mean, I do.
With a
I doubt
washcloth?
Yeah, and I wash my legs too.
That's good. Well, yeah.
I didn't want to come up here and get slammed, but I'm legitimately curious.
Keep doing that, and don't fall asleep in the sun. And let us know how it works out for you.
Can I say something real quick? Because that question grinds my gears. Mrs. Cologne, let me ask you a question, and then after you answer this question, you can exit. But you gotta unmute real quick. Okay, you just muted yourself again. You gotta unmute yourself. Okay, so do you think it would be healthy or appropriate for an SA victim to fix or heal or rehabilitate their assayer? Yes or no?
Oh no, you're right.
Okay, yeah. So don't go to black people asking them how to fix you and your problem that affects us. That's not our job.
But I didn't do anything to affect y'all.
He doesn't recognize black people's humanity.
Hold on, wait, Timothy, real quick.
Hold on, family. No, like just real quick. She's not.
I get that, but I want to finish what I'm saying, Timothy. I want to finish what I'm saying. Mrs. Cologne.
We can't be giving them space. We can't. We got to just move on.
All I'm saying is don't come to black people asking them how to fix your problem. That's what I'm saying. Don't do it anymore.
She's going to do what she's
not
going
to
to
listen.
do. All right, let's go to the next guest. David, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm 64, race black, and pronoun he.
All right.
There's a few things. The first thing is the population of the world from 1804 till today has grown by 7 billion people. It's a big number. So nobody's like black people. We're not, in America, maybe we're not, but black people are still having children all over the world. Let's see. And then on the LBGT thing, white people didn't teach us that. That comes from Africa itself, as they had cross-dressing tribes in the Congo.
Excuse me. Wait, hold on now. Hold up.
Okay.
Who said that cross-dressing was something taught to us by white people? I will kick them out this live right now. Who said that?
You were saying that gay people. That was taught to us by
No, I
white
didn't. Who
people.
said that? Did I say? Did I?
I
Anyone hear
thought
me say that?
someone. I
Did
thought
anyone hear me
someone
say
said
that, or
that.
was he
No
not
one said
listening?
that.
He wasn't even listening. And this is what
No.
happens. This is what happens every time I talk about this freaking topic on live. Is that somebody misconstrues what the hell I said, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a bunch of DMs from gay people talking about he's homophobic, he's this, that, that, da, 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 da. No one said that. We said homophobia came from white heteropatriarchy. We understand how that works. No one said that white folks was the first people to be gay. We know our history.
Okay.
We
Except
did
no
not
one.
choose to identify that way.
Huh?
Europeans did. That's a European concept. That's a European construct that you identify. There's no
I did
there's
not.
no
I did
social.
not get this from a European construct.
For the love of Pete,
There
listen.
is. I didn't say the act. I didn't say, or I don't even know what the act is, because what act makes you gay, right? Like that don't even exist. But anyway, like the idea of it being an identity is Eurocentric. That does not exist on the continent of Africa. But I didn't even say that today. Now we're talking about it. But the option, or the I don't know, the idea to live and love and be happy with someone of the same sex or gender or whatever is not something new to the African continent brought to them by Europeans. We understand that there were boy wives. We understand that when there were no men around, or sometimes even today, when there's no men in certain ethnicities, women will marry each other. We know that. We know that there was pharaohs that were trans, what we would call today trans. However, they did not identify as such. They didn't identify based on this. Just the same way we today do not identify based on what we had for breakfast this morning. I don't identify as a waffleist. I had egos. Timothy does not identify as a cerealist because he had cereal. The idea of creating an identity around it is Eurocentric.
Yep. Those constructs were in and of themselves. Like, see, the thing is, what people don't understand about ancient Africa, ancient Africans, our ancient African ancestors, did not see a reason to separate our African family that in modern day context would be identify or would identify as LGBTQIA. They did not see a reason to separate them, so they didn't even create the identity of LGBTQIA in the first place. They embraced an ideology called Abantu or Ubuntu, which meant I am because you are. So that's literally how they operated. They would see our African family that in modern day context would identify as LGBTQIA, and they would see them as a member of the community. There was no vilifying them. The only time that you ever got a finger pointed in your face was if you weren't doing what was within the best interest of the community. And that's it. You had certain responsibilities to do what was within the best interest of the community, but that is it. The homophobia, the vilifying of our African family that identifies LGBTQIA, that only came when the oppressors started to force their concepts into African spaces. There are multiple instances throughout all of ancient African history where there was very much so African family that would, in modern day context, identify as LGBTQIA. But let's be very, very clear. Our African family, with the concept of LGBTQIA, the LGBTQIA concept, that did not exist until people of European ancestry saw it as a paradox because they themselves could not normalize or could not see that our African family or that people in general that would in modern day context identify as LGBTQIA, people of European ancestry saw that as a paradox. And with them, they do not recognize paradoxes as being a natural part of Mother Nature. People of African ancestry, we have a long history of recognizing anything that would even remotely come close to a paradox as being a part of Mother Nature. We don't separate that type of stuff. They do. Anytime they see something as a paradox, they separate it. They
And
vilify it.
what
They
pisses
other it.
me off, I just saw a thing on an African tribe where the men have to decorate themselves, to be attractive to the women, or what. That was a part of the culture. Why would somebody twist it, say, oh, they're cross dressing or, they're drag queens? It's totally different. I get so tired of this, I don't know what to do. Hell, most of the men in Africa wear a so-called dress, if that's what you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? The robes, the things that we wear. So to conflate all of this stuff and try to explain it away, just drives me insane. Okay, and those men putting on I think their faces are red. The makeup they put on is red, and whatever. It's a symbol of attractiveness. That doesn't mean they're drag queens. Are you serious?
To this day, in modern today, West African cultures, there is no word for what we would describe as LGBTQ. There is no words. They only made up words that are a combination of indigenous words because Europeans are the ones that decided to create a construct around it. Not to say they didn't freely express themselves in certain cultures as they saw fit. We understand that all African hairstyles are unisex for a reason. Whether you got an afro, you got locks, you got braids, you got a bald head, whatever you want. We understand that the ancestors did not have this homophobia, this aversion, this hatred towards what people did, but they did have a duty to their tribe and to their people, and not to just how they chose to love or express love or be in relationships. So that's just something Eurocentric, and we got to talk about it because a lot of brothers and sisters are confused. We love our brothers and sisters no matter what's going on. We look at you, if brother, sister, family member, however you identify. If you black, then we rooting for you. We're gonna go to the next guest. We got somebody else up here. Shay the Go Getter. Give us your age, race, and pronoun. Oh no, wait. Hold on, my bad. You're not before Boris. Boris, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Yeah, hi family. My name is Boris, 36. I go by he, him.
All right, talk to us.
Okay, first thing first, I think interracial marriage between, I think everything is really unethical since you cross the race boundary. Like, you gotta stick with your race. First thing first, I think the big problem about the black community right now, it's over the world. It's the fact that black people mostly love people outside the race better than themselves, and I think this is where all the problem went first. For me, I don't think interracial thing is just you need to be fixed on the white race. It's going beyond that. The history told us that even Arabic people used to sell slaves, and even if it's not the main topic, I think it seems like I heard something like you just want to fix about white people, but for me, it's a good thing to assimilate everybody in the same box. I think I heard a brother say that black people face the same struggle everywhere. Whereas when they have a problem, nobody can stand for them, and I think it's something that you got to put also in the concept. So for me, where the slope is very steep is when you need to build a big nation. I mean, also the black nation. You need. I mean, you really need to get rid of people who not riding with us. No begging. Like, I heard some. I think you gotta excuse me for me. I just say my point, but it's so disgusting when I heard those type of movie explanation when you see black people just begging for love for white. For me, it goes beyond my ken. But um, at the end of the day, I think the difficult part is going to be to to only focus with us and stop going, like stop crossing this border, because I think this is where all the messed up. That's all I wanted to say.
Mm, okay. All right. Well, I ain't mad at that, I guess. Yeah, we shouldn't be trying to find ways to love our oppressor. We gotta find ways to love ourselves. Let me go to the next guest, Shay the go getter. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm 22, 21 and a half. I am African American, I guess. I don't know, Nigerian. And you said, what was the other question?
Um, your pronouns, she, he, they.
She.
All right, talk to us.
Honestly, I have a lot of mixed emotions about like more so black and white interracial marriages. Like me personally, I don't really care like who dates who dates what. So, like I really don't care. But it's like taking that as a fellow African American, it be feeling a little weird when I see like black and white couples. Like, not saying that it feels weird enough for me to have an opinion about it or for me to feel like a way, but it's like taking that, like I know where certain stuff stemmed from, like these different like fetishes that they would have on us and things like that, the things that they would do to us. So it's like, I don't know, it would just never really like fit for me, because me personally, I mean, I don't see myself ever dating a white girl, never have. But it's like, that's just my preference though. Like I don't judge anybody that does, but it's like I just don't feel like it fits.
I'll judge him. I judge anybody black that has chosen someone outside of themselves as a reflection of their own self love. I think the most important thing us black people can do in a world that has taught us to hate ourselves is to love ourselves.
And I agree so wholeheartedly. It's just that like being like a human being, like having to always be some type of sympathetic and empathetic to other people's situations, including your own. So it's like I can't sit here and be like, okay, like you're one of us. How dare you? Like how could you? But it's like at the end of the day, like I more so look at the oppressor like, I know what you like. You're not slick. Like I don't buy none of this like for a second. Like
They're the
so it's like
aggressor.
for my brothers and sisters, like I just kind of like just let them. I kind of just let them do what they do until they see, because it's always going to show for itself. Like one's intentions is going to show every time. So it's like if that white girl don't have good intentions for you, then it will show. It's nothing I could tell you.
In that situation, the black person is the victim of white aggression because we didn't decide to make interracial relationships in our community legal. We didn't have a sit down at our table where we decided, hey, you know what? We need to do a Million Man March, man. We really want some bunnies. They instead decided to introduce it to us. That being the case, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing says that they're the aggressor. We ought to know better on a personal level. We ought to know better, but a lot of us don't know better because we haven't been taught better, because it has been intentionally kept from us, the truth. I don't know how my screen just did that. But anyway, yeah, so I understand what you mean, empathy, all that. I judge them still on not on a sense of trying to change them to be different. Um, I judge them as in you don't have the self love necessary to actually be part of what's constructive for the liberation of your people. You know, I have to understand that this is not someone that I want my children around. This is not someone that I want teaching my children. This person has a level of self-hatred that is reflected in who they choose to align themselves with. So, you know, that's just that.
100%. Yeah, you know, you can't expect that a person who prioritizes somebody who, within the most intimate moments of their life, like to actually not be internalizing anti-blackness. Is like when you're a black person and you're prioritizing somebody outside of the black community in those most intimate moments of your life, like the moments where you're going to cry, you're going to be vulnerable, you're going to open up your body to this person, you're going to be laying in that person's arms, like that it doesn't make sense to say, hey, I have a whole amount of self-love as a black person, but you spend the moment, or you feel the most comfortable laying into and emotionally, physically, spiritually tying yourself to someone who historically has been responsible for your community's mass unalivement.
Yeah. Okay. Why she dropped like that though? I don't know why she dropped like that.
I don't.
Man, yo, if any of y'all are doing some funny screen recording shit, were you going to talk? Were you going to chop up the video and make it seem like I'm talking about LGBT people? When I said I don't want interracial people around my children, you're not slick. I see y'all because a lot of rainbows within my comments. Please don't try to come for me. You will get called out. All right, next guest, Jade. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. Jade.
Hi, sorry, this is my first time on live.
All right.
My name is Jade. My age is 25, and I'm mixed race.
That's not a race. I'm monoracial. That's not a race either. So you got to give us more than a description. What race?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm multi-generationally mixed race. My mom is Mexican American, and my dad is half black, half German from Germany.
Okay, so it's okay.
I know it's not normal, like for.
Nah. You just don't want to be black. When people say that they're mixed race, what they're saying is I'm non-white. Okay, and like that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Definitely look like a black woman to me, but I'm not really in the mood to go back and forth with y'all identity issues today. I've been doing this all day. I don't feel like tussling with y'all brain because y'all don't want to be black. I don't got the time today. American Michael, what's going on, brother?
Oh man, these streets are getting tough, bro. I'm just, I'm just scrolling through. I'm just listening to the craziness that's YT America. I'm just watching it unfold on TikTok, and it's just like, it's like, what is there to explain? How can you, what can you say about it? There's nothing left to say, I mean, it's like, to the young lady up top, you got to make a choice. That's all there is to it. You and I are probably the same complexion. There are people on this panel that are the same complexion as you. So I live in Mexico, and there are black Latinos, black Mexicanos, okay? They're of African descent. They were born and raised in Mexico. But they're black. You have black Latinos. You have Puerto Rico. They're from Puerto Rico. They're from Brazil. They're from Colombia. They're from Venezuela. Right? So that's what's up. You got to make, if I've said this once, I've said it 1,000 times. When you walk out of your door in the morning and you look like me or Brother Legend or yourself, you're black. That's the way the world sees you. And Brother Legend has a point. It's not up to him to sit here and tussle with you about what your lineage is, what your ethnic background is. You should know that. This is not hard. Okay, and I'm not hating on it. This is nothing but love. Okay, but that's just the way it is, man. You know, we all go through things as black people in this country. I have, everyone on this panel have, right? End of the day, the only way you're going to get back to normal is to come back to your black community. That's the first step. You got to come back into the fold. You know what I mean? Come back, because we're the only people that are ever going to care about you. At the end of the day, at the end of 300 days, at the end of 1,000 days, at the end of 10 years, we are the only people that look like you, that look like me, look like Brother Legend, you know, that look like Black Swan. We're the only people that are going to care about you. Your mom and dad will, of course, sure, your family. Once you step outside of that, you need your black family. You need your African family. And on top of that, you're African, okay? That's what you are. You are an African, okay? People say black, okay, I get it. But we're just Africans living in a land that people brought us to. We didn't want to be here, okay? We shouldn't be here, okay? We were, as Bob Marley so eloquently put it, we were stolen from Africa, okay? So that what is your smart well, whatever smart, I'll just call you smart. Okay, I'll just call you smart. But that's if you come up to a panel like this, man, you can't be
Wait, no, she wasn't the one that was talking. It wasn't Smart Sister that was talking. She left. The person you talking to left.
Oh, I'm sorry, Smart Sister.
Oh, honey.
Yeah,
no.
Smart Sister. Smart Sister not the one. She an elder like you,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, sister. Sorry. I didn't know. Okay. But that's what that's what a lot of I hear a lot of a lot of these 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds, man. I hear them like just losing their minds over being black in America, man. Like, why is this so hard?
Well, if
How did it get to the
I
point
say
where?
let them go, because baby, the world is gonna smack them upside the head, and they gonna figure it out. So just if you got an
I know.
issue, I'm tired too of us always riding the fence, just like the brother earlier. That was trying to say it's not ethical, but then it's ethical. Some of them, because some of them accept us, and we're together. No. It's ethical or it's not. You can't be a little pregnant. Okay, so it is or it ain't. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that what people do in their own personal experience, they have to find an out. You know what I mean? Or an excuse.
Yeah.
Just like he was talking about the gay community. Like I'm assuming probably some of his friends, or he said it wasn't him, but let's just say for his friends that may have white tea partners, because the black community may not have accepted them. And like Brother Legend said, it's like swallowing a cup of razor blades. What? I mean, once again, they even need to look at that history in New Orleans. Many of our young brothers were sold back to the gay community in France. Okay?
Yep.
And they did what they did to our babies. You know what I mean? Because they were sold to the gay community. So nobody gets a pass. And then we need to understand how that worked and what happened to our babies in that too. So don't come to me saying, well, our community is not like that, and we can be together and it's not unethical. No.
See, what happens is, I'll tell you this. This is just from my standpoint of growing up in America as a black child, as an African American child, as an African child, growing up in this country in the 60s, having to deal with being the only black child in a classroom, having 2 black teachers in 12 years of, and from kindergarten to just my senior year in high school. Okay, that's it. You know, I grew up in an extremely white world. I mean, I can't tell you how white this world is. I mean, to the unpacking that I've had to do over the last 20 years of my life is just, it's mind blowing. Because I had to undo a lot of shit, man. You know what I mean? Because if not, I would be in a really, really dark place right now. Like a very brutal, how could I say? It wouldn't be a very polite. People. Let me put it like this: Dave Chappelle. Not that I'm saying. I'm just going to quote him. He literally said, "We can't do this anymore. Like we can't do the. We're gonna, we're not gonna do the we need to come together thing anymore. That's just not gonna happen. It can't. We have told you people, black women, like if black women have told. I mean, look, if you're not listening to a black woman, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, black women have laid this shit out. They've laid it out, and white people just didn't want to listen. Black men have said, "Hey, man, we're getting unalived in our cities." They're saying they're dropping all this. Where did all these guns come from? Where did all these substances come from? They don't grow cocoa leaves in
the hood.
Detroit. In the hood, they don't have pew manufacturing plants in the hood. You know what I mean? This is just common sense shit that these people refuse to see, dude. They refuse to see it. And it's just like I'm done. Like I'm not talking to you. Like I got to deal with you because I work with you, right? But as far as like blah blah blah, come together. I'm not doing that. If there was a planet that we could all do, if all black people in this country left today, they wouldn't know what the hell. Who, me? They wouldn't know what the hell to do with themselves. Because they'd have no one to hate. They'd have no one to hate, dude. Their whole psychology is about hate. Go ahead.
Yep. Their system depends on our enslavement. But we do have a new guest. I want to be able to get them tapped in real quick. Brother, do you remember if it was Chi or if it was Max
It's
at the time?
Human Maximus first, and then it was Chidi.
All right. Yeah, human. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Black male, 38.
All right. Talk to us.
What's the talking point?
You don't know?
Y'all went from interracial to something else.
Well, what'd you come up to talk about?
I was finna ask, like, so y'all really think that no, like interracial? So y'all saying interracial dating is just like don't do it at all, right?
We said it's unethical. We ain't gonna tell people what to do.
Okay, it's unethical. Okay. I don't know. I don't know about that one though.
Explain.
Like, how could you justify telling somebody not to date somebody of a different race?
Well, I mean, can you name one way that it benefits the black community at all? Like, matter of fact, within the last 10,000 years, name one time it's benefited the black community.
I see what you say. I see what you're saying, G. I see what you're saying. I wouldn't rock with it personally. You know what I'm saying? I'm not defending it. I'm just saying, like, what's degrading about it? How is it hurting the black community?
All right, so I mean, well, think about it like this. All right, so imagine.
Sorry, Timothy, real quick. Did we get your intro, human? Are you black?
Yeah, he's black.
Yeah.
I'm brown skinned, but yeah, you can call me black.
Human. It's fine. We don't got to go into detail. Listen. So like, all right, say for example, like earlier in life, like I don't have like a history of this, but I mean, well, technically speaking, the police in my neighborhood, they very much so would target us, even though we were underage. So they would still do these things like this. But imagine, I get locked up for something that I didn't do, right? But of course, obviously, the system doesn't give a damn whether or not you did it. If you're black, you getting in cuffs. So imagine, I'm fully in the system. I'm sitting there like, yo, I didn't do this, but I'm in the system. And then all of a sudden, this guard comes around, and it's a YT woman. And this guard basically has full control, or the warden comes around, and this person has full control over my comfort, over my survival, over my way of life inside the prison industrial complex, right? Would you say that establishing a relationship with that person would be all of a sudden now ethical? Would you say yes or no to that? Like, oh yeah, it's ethical, or nah, it's not ethical.
To mess with the white woman that's overseeing you?
So even if it's not a YT woman, even if it's just a person that's a guard that is overseeing you, or if it's the warden of the jail that's overseeing you, what would you say that's ethical?
Nah, I wouldn't think so. They go against the chain of command.
Okay, all right, goes against the chain of command. All right, so is there a power dynamic in that?
For sure it is.
All right, bet. So in the society that we're living in now, right? Like, America, all that, the land of the free, home of the brave, America, everybody, let's yeah, that crap. Would you say, brother, that would you say it's fair to, address America as being a white supremacist, racist, anti-black society?
Yeah, you damn right it is.
All right. So then in a white supremacist, racist, anti-black society, do you think that YT people have an unfair advantage over everybody else, specifically black people?
It's kind of a known fact.
All right, cool bet. So that means that they have an unfair amount of power over other people groups, specifically black people, right?
Yeah.
So boom, we just addressed that in the power structure of it being inside the prison industrial complex, the person that is the guard or the warden has power over you. So that in and of itself cannot be an ethical relationship, because there's always going to be that power dynamic where they control what happens to you day in and day out. There's no way for that to actually be real love. There's no way for that to actually be an ethical relationship, because you literally could be getting involved with the guard or with the warden simply because you just want to have more recreational time.
Okay,
or you want to have more privileges in the cafeteria. You want to be able to get extra servings from the cafeteria, right?
Hype. They were all finna get into. So couldn't you use it to your advantage if you saying that these people in their society, the white people, they have so much power and this and that? Shouldn't you try to use that? I'm not me personally. No. I ain't fucking up.
That's where we always get mixed up.
Would you begin to try to use that to your benefit though?
That's where we always get. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
go ahead.
what they're dependent on. That's the reason they made interracial marriages legal in the first place. Because when black men and black women were coming together in the '60s talking about black power, and we had Fred Hampton, we had the Black Power movement, and we had the Black Panthers and Stokely Carmichael. They saw that as a problem. They said, "Whoa!"
Yeah, they were going ham. I appreciate that.
We won't give them We won't give them white power. But we'll give them white punani.
Look in, and they fell for it.
And they fell for it because they said, and then a lot of our big actors and basketball players, all of a sudden, the people that had wealth that could have brought that wealth back to the black community with black power, decided, what?
That's crazy.
I could fit into the current power structure. So
ain't it crazy how that Kanye line kind of like came to light though? And when you get on, he leave your ass for a white. I used to sing that shit when I was a kid. I was like, damn, them folks did what? Everybody went and got them a little different race joint though. Ain't nobody stay with their black chick. That was weird.
But that's the trick, was a lot of those black men that wanted all that black power, they really didn't want black power. They just wanted power. And so the white man already got his power set up. All you got to do is show me, signal to me in some way that you will have an allegiance to this community, that if I give you power, you will give it right back to us. All right, well, marry you a white woman, because marriage is not a love institution.
It's a binding contract.
It is a binding
So
contract, and
does it also
it's
does it
about
also
money.
benefit black women to try to do the same thing then?
No, it don't benefit nobody to get with the oppressor because
Okay,
again,
okay. I like the way you think, huh?
yeah, no, I'm telling you. Because when the black man get with the white woman, they know that the power that black man uses, that money that he earned, is going to come back to the black community. And when the black woman gets with the white man, 9 times out of 10, the white man's family is going to make sure she not gonna inherit the plantation.
Yeah, I
She
was
not gonna
listening to
inherit.
Dr. Francis Wilson on that topic.
Yeah, right. Actually, yeah, that's
Yeah,
spot on.
I ain't know y'all were this intelligent on the subject matter. I just want to know what it was though.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I be talking to my homies and they be like, man, white girl this and that. And just becoming aware of what I actually liked and desired, becoming a grown man, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I really ain't got no lust. It ain't no lust in my flesh for no white woman. It ain't no disrespect to them. It ain't no that I hate y'all cause y'all white or no shit like that. But it's just like I don't feel no strong desire to try to build and to, you know what I'm saying, have a sexual relation with a white woman. So I be at work talking my shit and they be like, bro, you really ain't never fucked no white girl? I'm like, no, nigga, I don't want to.
Brother, what you just said was very impactful, and I just want to outline it.
Nah,
This
cause I seen the comments. The comments was acting like they thought that I was one of the ones. But really, I
we
just like to
thought,
listen and learn.
but check this out. Would you say Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, her teacher is Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. And this whole this question of ethics is directly from one of his lectures where he talks about why it's unethical, including what Brother Timothy said about the prison warden and the prisoner being in a relationship, how that's unethical. We in America, as black people, are prisoners of war behind enemy lines.
Type shit going on.
And so, because our all 10 areas of people activity are influenced by white supremacy, a lot of us try not to believe it, but everything that we have is because a white person allowed it. And they say, no, 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 we worked hard for this. We did. If the white man said right now that it was illegal for black people to have electricity, what are we going to do about it?
Man.
Exactly. So anything that we have today, even though we might have fought and made them uncomfortable enough to where they gave some concessions, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, anything we have is because they allowed it. Because we don't have nothing to fight back with.
So how will
So
we go about excuse me if I interrupt, how we go about the other ethnicities or races like Asian, Middle Eastern, different races other than our own?
if a man is burning himself, if a man is burning in a fiery furnace and the flames is high, the flames is engulfing this man, we're not going to tell the man whether or not he can. I'm sorry, I hate that thing. It makes noise. But we're not going to tell the man that's burning in the furnace whether or not he can scratch his ass or not. If you want to scratch your ass in a fiery furnace, then you go ahead. But we're going to look at you crazy because we are in an environment that's hostile towards our survival, and we talking about doing something. Anything that man
Yeah.
wants to do
Yeah.
other than open up that furnace and walk out is a distraction. So if we are talking about building for our community, if we're talking about prioritizing our people, then any other type of people is just a distraction from our liberation.
Hey man, I'm talking about. I appreciate that, man, because it's like I don't want to be what they call racist, but I'm like I be feeling like wouldn't it be smart to gatekeep your seed? You know what I'm saying?
Man, if we was gatekeeping, could you imagine? We
Know what
would
I'm
have
saying? Like real shit. I be looking at
right.
shit like the black wife effect and little trends and excuse me for curse. I don't know if you can. I
No,
be
you
looking
good.
at little trends. It be like it's so I don't get no hate in my heart. I be seeing people celebrate their counterparts when they of a different race. They celebrate their counterparts,
Hmm.
and then it's like they turn around to the race that they came from, and they kind of like turn their nose up at them. You see what I'm saying?
But that ain't racist because ain't nothing you feel going to change what can and cannot be done with someone else and what they want to do. But you having a duty, a sense of duty to understanding that what we are facing right now as a people means that we must come together, then that's just common sense, brother. That's just
IG. I just recently came into like knowing the knowledge of my ancestors, like down in Mississippi. Even though I'm from Memphis, I got land in Mississippi, and we kind of caught somebody trying to use my grandfather's name because they had the same kind of last name, but he was actually from Texas and tried to take our acres from us. So I kind of was just like looking at shit as I grow old, I'm just looking at like the amount of land it takes to just own one piece of house, like a half an acre or whatever. I got like 60 to 100, and them folks trying to like use the pen to take this shit, but we caught it though. But I'm just like, how many times has that been done? And I be looking at my homeboys and my homegirls at work, man. I be at work and they be talking about how it's like they be praising and objectifying white people. And I don't want to interject, but I just be listening, and I be like, is the past like non-existent to y'all? Do y'all not remember the kind of shit that they was on, like eating us and beating
See,
us and
family,
doing
family.
us in
That's
the
the
world?
thing. Family.
I be
That's the
like, what
reason
the
why they're
fuck?
banning. That's the reason why they're banning the books now. Family. That's the reason why they don't want to teach critical race theory. That's the reason why they want to restrict Black history. That's the reason why they
Hey,
don't want
that
us
term
having
pissed me off
conversations
so
about this,
bad, G.
bro.
I ain't
Bro,
gonna
like,
lie.
listen, family. Like, okay, that is exactly that's a tactic of war. That's what that is. They don't want us to know this information. Hence the reason why they're trying to vilify TikTok. Hence the reason because like this, like
You
let's
talking
be
about
very real.
playing with the info, I
Even
ain't
though
gonna
this
lie.
panel, even though these types of like spaces are predominantly run by whatchamacallit, even though these spaces are predominantly run by communities that are outside of our community, in the vast majority of these instances, like we are literally seeing that Black people are able to unify in a way that
Yeah,
has not been
that
done in a very
communication
long.
is
We're in
so
the age of
serious.
yeah, we're living in the age of information, and me being up here having a conversation with you and having 170 people listening in, and me having a picture of a book on my screen, now everybody has the ability to know about something that is critical as Dr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s work, the United Independent Compensatory Code slash system slash concept, and the rest of the title goes on to say a compensatory counter racist code revised expanded edition, and it goes into talking about how it's a textbook slash workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism, white supremacy. Now roughly 170 people now know that Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. exists. Now they know that this is a book that also does exist. You can purchase it. And now more and more of our people know that there's a way in which we can actually function as Black people, or a way in which we are supposed to function as Black people inside of a system and construct of racism, white
Excuse
supremacy.
me,
And
Tim.
that Dr. Neely Fuller
I
Jr.
don't want to interrupt, Tim. Excuse me, but
Uh-huh.
could you spell the author for me?
Oh yeah, yeah, I got you, family. Let me see. You know, is it easier if I type it in the comments for you,
Yeah,
or if
yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah,
yeah, I got you, bro. Hold on, let me
I
type it in
like
for you.
reading and stuff.
Got you, man. Type it in, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me put some book brackets behind it because my eye. I don't know about y'all eyesight, but my eyesight. If I don't see like some emojis behind it, I ain't looking at it. Hold on. There we go. You see it, family?
It's probably gonna take a
let me
little
make it
minute.
bigger. Hold on, I'll make it big.
Okay, nearly fully sound. Yeah, look just like it sound.
Yeah, that's Dr. Francis Cress Welson's like teacher.
Yeah, man, some of them ancestors be having profound words. They just stick, man. So
Man, if you look up Neely Fuller Jr.'s name on YouTube, you're gonna find some like little cartoon skits that they do to his lectures.
yeah,
Man, it's going to. I watch that every day. There's so many of them, bro. You can learn every day, like just every day. He get different points. Oh my goodness, I watch it every day. It's addictive.
appreciate that info, man. I just like learning different stuff and reading different stuff.
Yeah.
And brother, like while we've been talking, we were just talking about how specifically, like, you know, dating outside the community and stuff, and how YT women were used as a tool to distract brothers from
Yeah,
liberation movements. While
damn,
we've been having
damn. I mean,
conversations,
the
there's
host went
literally
cold on that one.
yeah, like brother, like while we've been having a conversation about that, and while we've been staying focused and on code as black men on this topic, there has been multiple Beckys that have been commenting in the comment section for the express purpose of distracting us.
I seen. I just was absorbing so much information. I was just tripping off for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I can see them in the comments though, for real.
They hunting.
Yeah. Like, pay attention to the agenda, y'all. Pay attention to the tactics. The second we start talking about prioritizing the black community as black men, all of a sudden you see the Becky start flooding into the comment section. Well, I was just asking a question. Oh, well, I'm gonna go ahead and gift you. Oh, I'm just gonna. Can we talk about it? Nah.
Could you imagine being alive back in the Gap when they was actually, you know what I'm saying, them sisters and them brothers was out there, and them brothers was taking up arms, and them sisters was having their afros, like they loved to wear their afros.
No,
and
man,
stuff like
they was fine as shit too, man.
I was there, I thought about that.
American Micro Podcast was there.
Okay, yeah, I see one of our OGs right there. I meant to holler at him, but I ain't know how to come in.
I was there. No, it's look, 64, 65 legislation by LBJ. Nixon becomes president, and it's all out war.
Yeah.
Well, actually, before that, it was Ronald Reagan was the governor of California, and it was all out war on the Black Panthers in Oakland and San Francisco.
Yeah, I read about this.
Yeah, he actually, the reason you can't own, the reason why the weapons situation or the pew situation in California is so intense.
You gotta go in on them, brother.
I'm just saying it's because of Ronald Reagan. But anyways,
it hurt my soul because I'm like a gun advocate. I love firearms.
But you can do that in Mississippi. You can't do that in California, man.
Yeah, I see what they did over there, man.
Yeah. So, but all I'm trying to say really quick, man, is I grew up watching all of that go down, watching the unalivement of black leaders. And, you're sitting there watching that, as well as watching young black men go to war in Vietnam, a war in which we had no business being. And you could ask, just listen to what Muhammad Ali said about fight. That's why he just said, I'm not going in the army.
Yeah, they won't hurt
because those people have never done anything to me. Why should I go fight them?
See, with my mother, I think she's 65. So
that's how old I am.
We be rapping, we be talking sometimes, and she gave me one of them facts of like, yeah, I remember how many National Guard was down here when Dr. King got shot and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Remember how many people were getting beat up and this and that. And just before I'm rapping with my mama, got the relationship with my mama like it is now. I'm hearing people before this conversation with my mama talk about, hey man, this at the bus stop in the North Memphis. Oh man, I just randomly linked up with. I remember my mama had to get down because she was fair skinned. You know what I'm saying? While Pops was driving through certain neighborhoods, bro, if she don't get down, them folks gonna think I'm riding with a white woman. They gonna, you know what I'm saying? In so many words, come get at me.
My mom's really light, but my aunts, I've got 9 aunts, all born in Louisiana, every shade of black you could imagine.
Cold.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, women cold in the family. When you really look at the family tree.
You know what I'm saying?
We got another guest up here that didn't get a chance to talk.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me introduce the sister, only one, Kim. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm 42, and I'm black, and I'm she, her. I just wanted to say it's past midnight this side. I'm in the UK, and I couldn't sleep. The reason I couldn't sleep is because I grabbed a book by, I heard you quoting Neely Fuller, and he's actually quoted in that book. And the book I'm reading is called The ISIS Papers, Keys to the Colors.
Yeah.
by Dr. Frances
Wilson.
Cress Welsing.
Mm-hmm.
And she says something very profound, and it got me thinking really deeply. She talks about how the basis of racism, aka white supremacy,
Mm-hmm.
is basically on their genetic
Mm-hmm.
inadequacy to produce color.
Yep.
So in that same token, I was thinking, she calls it the color confrontation theory. In that same token, I was thinking, are we as Black people aware of what we have? Are we conscious of what we actually have, of this ability that we have to produce melanin? It's a rare ability, and these people are envious of it. That's where a lot of the contention lies. Are we conscious that we are that superior? Are we conscious? Are we aware, or are we constantly worried about being accepted by them? It's profound.
Mm-hmm.
It's profound. When I was reading it, I really, really got quite stunned, so to speak, because I think we need to put a lot more focus on ourselves as well as Black people. Give that attention to ourselves. A lot of this world is whitewashed, and we're looking at a lot of things and interpreting a lot of experiences through the YT lens. For once, let's put the attention on ourselves. Let's just take back that power. Let's just take that power. This melanin is so it's the source of all contention. It's the source of our struggle, of which this is naturally occurring to us. It's natural selection. We are Black. Thank God. Thank the Creator, rather. I feel like I dodged a bullet. I honestly do. If I wasn't Black, I would, right? I don't know how I'd be feeling right now, but what a time to be Black. What a time to be alive, where we're breaking the generational curses. What a time to be alive, where we're deconstructing, where we're decolonizing. What a time. It's not because they're YT. It's not because they're deficient, but rather it's because we have the ability to produce melanin.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we look at it that way? Why don't we look at it that way? Why don't we look at ourselves? Take your eyes off them. Take your eyes off them. Just be indifferent towards them. They don't matter. We don't care. They don't matter at this point in time. Because this is the time where there's such a profound awakening. There's such a profound awakening. And hence we need to be focused on our melanin, rather. Our ability
You have a
to absorb
point.
the sunlight. Sorry?
That's a very, very strong way of putting it. I mean, at some point, you just have to be done with dealing with these people. You just have to be done.
Yeah.
You just get it out of your mind. Just it's over.
It's over. It's over.
Damn it, my phone died.
Because, it's like, for me, I told myself personally that hating takes a lot of energy. So why not just disregard something? Why not completely disregard it? Like it's not there, like it does not matter. Like it's got no significance to my life. Because if it's a waste of time to give them energy, to give them time, to give them space. And they're all up in our spaces. Every time somebody holds a live where it's about Black empowerment, we're talking Black, They want to be all up in our spaces. But if they create a platform, they would never allow us in their spaces. They're gatekeepers of their whiteness. Why don't we do the same for ourselves? Let's save ourselves. This is our time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, sister. I want to invite all of my brothers and sisters with the ability to produce melanin to join us tomorrow. We have our meeting, our weekly meeting in b1initiative.org, the Discord. When you click on b1initiative.org, there's a link that'll say Discord. You want to click on that button. b1initiative.org is our nonprofit, 501c3. If you want to donate, you can also do that on our website. But we've made a black space with over 900 Pan-Africans, almost at 1,000. We're on our way there. We're 80 away from 1,000, but we've created a Pan-African safe space for brothers and sisters to come and learn more. We don't care about your religion. We don't care about who you vote for. We don't care about who you love or any of that stuff, unless it's a honky. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? As long as you loving black people and you love yourself, we love you, black people, and we want to make sure that you get access to education. We're also building Sankofapedia, a free online comprehensive encyclopedia, just like Wikipedia, but built from an Afrocentric perspective, meaning we will tell world history from an Afrocentric perspective. I have videos about that on my profile, but we are at the organizing part of pro-blackness, and we encourage brothers and sisters to come join us. We have our meetings on Sunday, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, thank you for sharing that with us, sister. And